Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello, hello.
So, this is an exciting day for us all. This is the Collegiate Chess League's premiere on the Chess channel here on Twitch and all the other platforms. But this is the semifinals and finals. Three teams left remaining in Division 1. UCLA against Mizzou here for the semifinals, and the winner will move on to play against SLU. So, should be a good one. These are some of the best teams in the league, and we should have some good chess for you guys. So,
Should
uh,
be should be an exciting day, Joe. I'm really excited about today's matches. This has been a goal of yours and mine for a while to bring collegiate chess to the online, and I think today is going to be a special day for that.
for
I'm
sure.
excited.
Yeah, and hopefully this will be the first of many fun and exciting events that the Collegiate Chess League can host. So yeah, on that note, the players should be sending the challenges now. It is 5-2 time control, so it's blitz, it's fast, and there's a little bit of an increment.
Yep, I think we should also tell the people what the first match is. That's going to be Mizzou against UCLA in the semifinals, and the winner is going to go on to the finals where SLU is waiting.
Exactly. So yeah, after this semifinals match, we're gonna go into a little bit of a break, and we're gonna be joined by Grandmaster Alejandro Ramirez to be doing some commentary with us as the coach for SLU. So that should be exciting as well.
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm
All
just
right,
reaching
the
out to the
games are.
players.
I think I can. Let me just tell them. I can tell my players to start their games.
How do I turn up your volume?
I think the games are ongoing right now, Joe.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
Oh, we
I
got
see
Crazy
one
Girls.
of the games at least. The one between Crazy Girl, who is a women's grandmaster, Tohir Begim Tohir from Uzbekistan. And I have to admit, I don't know who Super Cheese is.
This is our board one, Luke Lee from UCLA, our strongest blitz player.
Okay, okay. And of course, we also have a big match, in my opinion, against international master Michael Michael K. Kleinman. I think this is Michael Kleinman, right?
Michael Kleinman, yes, international master on our board two at UCLA.
A former chess bra, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that is true.
Yep.
So I have
And
that game as well.
he's playing our board three. That is Grandmaster Chris Repka from Slovakia. Currently a freshman at Mizzou.
Okay, so we've got a Sicilian defense here from Michael. And
Yes.
yeah, for those of you interested about the format of the match, the first round is board one against board four, and board two against board three. And everyone ends up playing everyone. So there's going to be 16 games total, and the winner is the first to 8.5 points. So 4 rounds, 4 games per round. And the last round ends with board one against board one, all the way down to board four versus board four.
Yep. And we have some sort of a close Sicilian. Bubachik, Chris Repka, didn't play d4. He decided to go with a more tame approach with d3. The bishop goes out to c4, a4 to make some space for that bishop to retreat in case he's going to be attacked via d5. And Black is going to start having to find a plan how to develop his pieces.
Yeah.
How is he going to get the bishop on c8 out? That is the big question at the moment. Is he going to go via the c8 h3 diagonal with d6 or with b6 to b7? It seems like he's trying to go to d7, but that might be kind of a passive approach for him.
Yeah, maybe want to get this rook on the b file and push for b5 and then get the bishop out the other way.
I think that is his plan. And White also has to show his hands. Nope, he decided to go the other way
b6
with b6. So he realized that the bishop on d7 probably doesn't have a great future. What I think he wants to do is go bishop b7, knight a5, rook d8, and try to break in the center with d5. Obviously, white needs to find a plan as well. It's not very clear on which side is going to attack. I would assume the king side, but how to get that going? If you move the knight from c3 via e2 to g3, then potentially you're going to allow black to go d5. So there's still a tension in the position right now.
Definitely. And actually, I think it's a pretty flexible position. Players could choose which side of the board they can play on so far. So keeping the play mostly in the center for now. But yeah, no trades yet at all in this game. And I noticed your board 1 has started his game against UCLA's board 4.
Well, there's some good news for you. On one of the matches, I think that is the one between the FIDE Master board 1 and of UCLA and Crazy Girl. Black is a pawn up and the 2 bishops and has the 2 bishops. So I think your board 1 is a heavy favorite at the moment against my board 4, Mizu's board 4.
Yeah, so usually in these matches, it's expected for board 1 to do pretty well against the board 4. And here Luke is trying to get the queen trade off up in material. But interestingly, if white were to recapture, black takes and has the doubled A pawns. So
yeah, I like this move, queen a4. I definitely like this move, queen a4. I don't think white has to take on a4, or I don't think she wants to take on a4, because if she does that, then the 2 bishops, especially the light square bishop, is going to get active on the a6 f1 diagonal, and that might spell trouble for white. I think white needs to. The position is just difficult. It's tricky to find a good plan at this point. Queen a4 is a very good move. I think knight b3 has to be played at this point.
Pitting the knight to the queen just to try to keep the queens in the position, because white doesn't want to trade down, especially not down in material, even though pawn's not too much per se, but it's going to be an uphill battle.
Yep, completely agree. And what's happening in the other games? Joe, I think Gordima just started, so we can go that a little bit later. But Oparin, our board number 1, has already made their first 16 moves, and we have quite an interesting middle game. So maybe we could hop on to that.
Yeah, so this is UCLA's board 4, and definitely the lowest rated out of any of the players. But you cannot discount Daniel Yedidia here. I think he's the only player as well that doesn't have a title in this match. But that being said, in round 1 against Princeton, he was able to take down Grandmaster Andrew Tang. So you cannot think that this is an easy win for any of these players.
Absolutely not. But I do think black has the better play at this point, especially because of that square e5. I'm going to land the knight to e5, and then at the right moment, I'm going to increase the pressure, queen f6, queen g6, put the bishop on d7, potentially rook. The other rook comes back, potentially on e8, or maybe the rook from f8 to g8 and the rook from a8 to f8. And then at some point, I'm going to go f5, break, and try to come up with an attack on the king side. I think that's the main plan for black. And I'm not 100% sure what white is going to do. Because white has the worst structure with the double pawns. That's a good move. That's probably a good move. At least try to get some sort of counter chances, even though it doesn't seem feasible at this point.
Yeah, white's definitely more cramped here. We've got the double pawns on the c file and that knight on f1. Not really looking too hot.
No. As much as I don't like Begim's position with your board 1, I think this balances the dynamics of the match so far this game. Yeah, queen takes e5, queen f6. We're going to exchange. I'm going to be on exchange up as black, and it just seems like this is just going to be a matter of technique at this point.
Yeah, and definitely I want to comment on the fact that UCLA's board 1 is not even 40 rating points higher than your board 4. So this is definitely a very tough match for UCLA. Mizzou's definitely expected and the favorite to win this match. But I do want to applaud the players from UCLA to just even getting to this point in general amidst some very strong teams in the league. So at this point, I think all the pressure really is on Mizzou, and they definitely can't put their sights on SLU just yet. They got this one team to get past first.
No, UCLA has proven throughout the season that it's a very tough contender.
All right.
How do you keep them motivated, Joe? You're their coach, yeah?
These players? Well, I told them they're gonna be on the big screen today, so they got all the viewers. And I also want to mention, I've been motivating them a little bit through some of our charity streams that we've been doing for the UCLA Chess Club. So we actually joined Relay for Life in conjunction with the American Cancer Society, and we've already raised over $2,000 towards our goal. So there's a college streamers tournament going on, and interestingly enough, Mizzou and UCLA are the top 2 schools in that tournament as well. So they're not only facing off on the chessboard here, but they're competing in a charity event. And I think we might have some Moobot commands. I'm not sure what they are yet, but we can share those links with you guys.
I'm sure we have somebody taking care of that right now in the chat. But what's happening in Gordima's game? That's Gordima, that is board number 2 for Mizzou, Grandmaster Gordievsky against Julian Lando, board number 3 from UCLA. That one is a very strange position, I have to admit.
Yeah,
This
both
F5
knights
completely shocked me.
Both knights were under attack there by the pawn, so it's like Black's gonna have to try to save this knight on d4 somehow. Trading off.
Okay, so he trades on f3. Now queen takes f3 is a good move because you want to bring the rook from a1 to e1 and pressure the backwards pawn on e6. Probably at some point Black has to go e5, and maybe very soon. The problem with e5 was that it allowed queen d5 and queen takes c5, or queen d5 and bishop takes c5. So it was losing a pawn, e5 directly. What Gordima wants to do right now is to play b6, reinforce the defense of the pawn on c5, bring the rook to e8, and then go e5. I think that's the plan.
Yeah, and
rook d8. He's telling me, no, coach, I don't want to do
disagreeing. And yeah, Julian's putting a rook on the e file. Definitely going to be expecting this e5 pawn break at some point. And I believe both of these players are actually streamers themselves, no?
I don't know about Julian. I don't know about Dimitri. He is a streamer.
So Gordima streams, and I can definitely tell you for sure Julian Landau is a streamer. Oh, we've actually had a result on your board 3, taking down our board 2.
Chris has won against Michael Kleinman with the white pieces. Maybe we can go through that at some point, but
let's look at UCLA's board 1. Only 19 seconds left. Again, he's up with his pawn, but he's barely any time.
Right. That's this position looks completely winning for Black, but he just doesn't have the time. Let's see if he can prove it.
Yeah, and your board 4 here, Crazy Girl's using her time here to think, so it looks like the clocks are going to be evening up. It's a tough position for sure.
She needs to do something fast. She needs to put the pressure on time. Rook c1.
Yeah, rook c1
okay,
I
like
agree
that
with.
move.
Getting the open file.
The problem is bishop e3. What are you going to do against that? Bishop e3, I guess she wants to give a check on c8 and then move the knight. Yep, that's exactly what she's going for. Knight to f1.
Hitting the bishop.
d4.
Yep.
Keeping the 2 bishops. You don't want to take on f1 and have opposite color bishops. That's definitely the right approach for Black.
And that helps.
I like bishop d4.
That helps the draw odds for sure. Yep. So leaving the bishops on.
Knight d2 has to be played fast. Attack the bishop on e4. You have to decentralize those bishops. They're controlling so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Of the board. Whoa. Where is the bishop going?
Oh boy. There's a check.
No, but bishop f2, I just take on f2 and then I take on f5.
Now
that's a piece.
We're down a piece.
That is a piece. Yeah.
So, man, up the pawn, but no time for super cheese here. Yeah, and the position's just gonna fall.
Yep, it seems like it.
Let's look at your board 1, Grigory. UCLA, again, another time scramble. Only 10 seconds for Daniel here.
Yep. That one is not looking good. I think that's an exchange down. The White's only hope is the c-pawn. but it seems like that's going to be stopped. C7 followed by king c8 is just game over. Rook takes h7, and now I can probably just go bishop c4 and attack your knight on f1. Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly what he's going for.
Yeah, this is lost.
Yeah, rook takes f1. Okay, you have to be careful about bishop takes f5, but bishop e6 just covers everything. Also, it doesn't look very good on the clock for white.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and there's resignation. So Mizzou off to a hot start. Let's look at Julian's
It's still
game.
not over, by the way. Super Cheese against Crazy Girl is still not over.
Should we look at that game? They've gained a lot of time back on the clock. Yeah, looks like
probably some sort of a big accident has to happen for Begim not to win this one. And Begim is the girl with the long name, Gulruh Begim Tohirjonova, but I'm never going to say her full name because it's just too much. She goes by Begim.
Okay, Begim.
King c7. Wait, was that checkmate in one move? Rook a6?
I'm not sure. But white's winning regardless here. We got one last chance, I think. Let's look at Julian's game.
Yep.
Okay, so Julian's done a really good job blocking this e5 pawn break for black.
The problem is he doesn't have the light square bishops anymore, and I think that favors black because the king is going to be a bit weakened without the fianchetto bishop on g2. So, and I also feel like the structure on the queen side especially is kind of restricting the bishop on f2. I like what black is doing. He does have the weakness on e6, but it seems like if he manages to land the knight on d5, attack the pawn on f4, I think he has the better position. Nevertheless, it's still a very complicated game. Queen d5, okay. Is he going to take that pawn on a2? Is he going to get greedy? He might get greedy.
No, just
he's not getting greedy.
Building up. Attacking d3 now. Definitely the more important of the two pawns. And it looks like there's just going to be a theme for this UCLA team down on the clock and a lot of the games as well as the position. But Julian's putting up a fight here, not giving up just yet, trying to open up this G file. Maybe, I don't know, if you can get the queens off.
He has to take with the e-pawn, I feel. Black has to take with the e-pawn. And when you take on...
Oh, there's the G file.
G-pawn, that's completely insane. But
this queen is pinned, so there's no h5
It makes
check.
some sense. There's no queen h5, yes.
So the king's getting out, and now the queens are traded.
Okay, so that's an interesting approach by black. I still don't like it. I wanted to take with that e-pawn and get rid of the weakness, but he decided to open the G file, and that is more important than getting rid of the weakness, which is a bit strange. I don't like this decision by black.
It looks like the clocks are evening up as well, so this game is not over yet.
DK1, yes, we're going to play 4 rounds. Each board is going to play each board. So board number 1 is going to play board number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. 16 games in total, if my math is correct. So it's first to 8.5. I think it's a good idea to reiterate that. Very similar to the Pro Chess League, if you have been watching that.
All right, I like black is putting all the pawns on light squares, so this dark square bishop of Julian's is not going to be able to target them as easily.
Yep, b5 has to create, has to put his majority into motion on the queen side, and I like what black is doing. The knight on d5 just simply keeps everything controlled.
And c3 exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a passed pawn for black, and Julian's king is coming over, but a2 is going to fall. And this could be the end.
Yeah, this one looks good for black. The thing is, the bishop on g5, it doesn't do absolutely anything. It's not attacking anything. It's not defending against anything.
Yeah.
So you're basically playing without a piece as white.
So this is definitely how you want to play with the knight against.
Wait, what? Oh,
So
tactics.
if
King
if
takes
king
e3, rook
takes,
a3.
then yeah, there's the rook check. You pick up the rook, but you lose the knight. So
Yep.
Julian down the exchange here. Is there any chance he can hold a fortress?
I don't think so, because I'm going to bring my king to d5. That's the plan. If I manage to bring my king to d5, you're just simply going to have too many weaknesses. And okay, but against d5, I think you're losing a pawn, right? Rook
Okay,
d1.
check. Rook d1.
Yeah.
The king has to
Rook
move.
d1, king e5, and then I take with the pawn.
Oh.
No, rook to e1. That's a very strange move.
That is interesting.
It should still be winning.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a fortress. For example, my plan is pretty simple, I think. I'm going to go king to c7, and then you have to keep the opposition. If you allow me to go king b6, king b5, then I'm just going to bring my king all the way to g4, all the way on the king side, and then sacrifice my rook. It seems like Gordima has some other ideas.
Gordima very low on the clock here. Under 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Is he going to find a plan?
The king has to circle around via the queen side and go all the way to g4 or f3. Now king c5 is forced. King c5 is forced. Yeah, this is winning
not
now.
Played.
Yeah, not played.
So yeah, the king will be coming in now.
Yeah.
So the king's gonna get around and attack the pawns, and
attack
the bishop.
The pawn on f4, and then I'm just simply going to give my rook for the pawn. Rook what? Bishop e7.
That was a free rook. Miss. And now the bishop has found a new pivoting square. But
on e5, and now the king gets in. That's a problem.
Oh,
the king gets in. That is a problem. I don't like what Gordima has done. Now the bishop is going to g5. He's
back
not
to
playing
g5.
this one right.
Oh, and g6. The rook's gonna have to come back to a6.
This one right.
It's hard with the time. So let's see. Is Julian gonna find a draw here to get UCLA on the board?
He's getting close to it. He's definitely getting close to it.
So the king comes to h5, preventing white from getting into h6. But how black makes progress here? Yeah, definitely.
I don't see it actually.
Missed that bishop.
That was a huge miss for Gordima.
That free.
Oh wait, rook takes h4.
Rook take. Okay,
easy,
so
easy. Yeah.
Well, then king takes g6, right?
King g4 after that, and that's
and then yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
you lose the pawn on f4, and you don't get to bring your king in front of the pawn.
There it is. So black's found a way, and Julian not able to defend f4, resigns here. What a finish.
And I just want to let you know that for whatever reason, and I will try to change that in the future, Crazy Girl and Michael Kleinman have already started their second round.
Yeah, so they were both available after the first round.
Yeah, I will let my players know that they should start maybe at the same time once the games are over.
Okay, yeah, I'll let them know as well. These players are challenging each other. This isn't automatic pairings, not yet at least.
Yeah. So they're having some difficulties, some technical difficulties,
but that's okay. Either way, round 2 is underway, and we've got board 2 against board 4 here from UCLA and Mizzou, respectively.
Somebody is asking, how is Julian Lando in the collegiate tournament? How old is he?
How old is he? He's definitely above average age, and that's because he is a med school student. And looks like Michael Kleinman has forked the rooks here.
Yep. No, this is looking good for UCLA. I think Michael is going to take this one. He's just going to take one of the rooks, then take on c7, and he's just going to be an exchange up. There's still some technical difficulties, but technically this should be winning. d4, she's trying to create some sort of counter chances with that pawn, but that guy is not going anywhere.
So hopefully we can convert this. Definitely up on the board and on the clock as well, so that's good. And yeah, we're gonna need some points on the board, so
yeah, this one is looking good for you.
Lots of chess left to be played. So yeah, let's move on to, I see Julian and Grigory have started their game.
So I think right now is 4-0, right, for Mizu, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, let me update the scores.
And this one seems to be going UCLA's way, so it's probably going to be 4-1 after Crazy Girl succumbs to the former chess bra, Michael Kleinman.
Yeah,
maybe.
Hopefully. I'm looking at Julian's game right now. Julian with the black pieces.
Against Chris Repka. No,
against Grigory.
Why don't I see that game? Are
you following your players, coach?
I am. Unfortunately, it's not taking me there, but I will get there. Just a second.
You could also type follow Jay Landau.
Okay, I'm seeing the game now.
So white not yet castled, but open H file to attack the king side.
Surprisingly, it's equal pawns, if I can count right. So white doesn't have the H pawn and black doesn't have the D pawn. You cannot take on F3. I like this move F4. Now you're kind of forcing the trade on D4, and you don't want to give that dark square bishop as black, because once that guy is out the board, the bishop on the long diagonal is going to be the chief of the game. And this is just simply not looking good for black at this point.
Yeah, white's got a lot of attacking chances, so don't even need to castle here in this position, because black is just pretty behind development on the queen side so far, and white already has a really strong attack. So
I think white is going to keep the king either on F2, or he's going to go long castle. And not because the king is under attack, but because he wants to bring the other attacker, and that is the rook on A1 into the game.
Yeah, the last piece for white here. So black playing rook to E8, offering some extra support of this E4 pawn. And now the rooks are getting forked on C7.
So I think this was but that's a full rook.
That's a full rook, and knight to F5. I'm not sure what the plan is.
That is a full rook, and this one is not looking good for black. I don't see the counter chances. The thing is, your bishop on C8, the knight on D7 are still not playing an active role.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
knight
just
F8,
too much.
defending H7, but yeah, the whole rook.
And attacking the pawn on D4. So black does have one threat in the position, but I still think maybe knight C7 is the right way to go.
And knight C7, forcing the rook to move.
Rook E7, and then maybe even knight D5 could be an idea. Yeah, it seems like he's going for that.
Well,
queen takes D4.
Okay, wow. There's another rook.
Well, if I take on E8, then you're going to take on A1. And then I have
see this here. There's another rook hanging, exactly.
And then potentially the rook on H1 could be hanging as well.
And there's just an early resignation here.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it forces the queen trade, because if you move the queen away, then I'm just simply going to pick up the second rook, and that's just going to be
too much.
Game over. Too much.
So let's look at UCLA's board 1 against Bubachik here. What's going on? So Luke has white pieces, and neither side having castled yet, even on the clock for the most part. Any ideas behind A4?
So A4, you basically want to stop me from putting a piece on A4, most likely a knight. Imagine having the knight to A4 as black. I will be able to continue my attack on the queen side via B5, B4. Also, I'm putting some pressure on C3. So A4 is actually a restrictive move. You're trying to take space away from my pieces. Yeah.
Hitting this knight.
A5 is an interesting move. Can I take on A5? Can I grab that pawn and be greedy? And that's exactly what he's going for.
So what, queen to B5 is going to be coming up to get out of the pen?
Exactly.
And
if white would have had queen to B1, for example, that would be nice. But unfortunately, that square is protected by bishop on F5. Yeah, queen B5. Now the knight is coming to B3. I think this is not looking good.
Yeah, that's a really strong outpost square for the knight. Hitting the rook, hitting the bishop.
A5 was a bit overzealous from white's perspective, I think.
And
just giving
actually,
up a pawn.
so UCLA board 2 against Mizzou's board 4, we got our first point on the board. So Michael
Yes,
Kleiman
Michael
taking
Kleinman
down Begin.
scored an important victory for UCLA, and
So,
I think that takes us to 5-1
mhm.
as the overall score.
Yeah, and there's a mate
And
threat that wasn't stoppable. I think it's important to note UCLA and Mizzou have played already so far this season, and the score was 14-2. So I don't know how much your players have prepared by looking at those games or that match. I don't know if you're hoping to do better than before. I don't know if I'm assuming the UCLA player is gonna hope they do better than 14-2. But we got
we just
one
want to get
point.
the W. That's about it.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how big the win is as long as you get to 8.5.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you get to 8.5, and as long as obviously the winning team is going to continue to a very difficult match coming up against SLU. So probably you want to win with as many points as possible of a margin, because then you get the boost of confidence from winning so many games. And I think that's extremely important because SLU is, at least on paper, they're the favorite.
Oh, for
No matter
sure.
who they're going to
Yeah,
play,
they are the
whether
top
they play
seed.
us or you guys.
And that's an interesting note to bring up. Do you think SLU is going to be able to match the intensity of the winning team? Because, like you said, whoever wins this semifinals and moves on is going to have that extra boost of confidence going in. And the SLU team, I'm sure they're
Good
going to be ready,
question.
but who knows? Maybe
Good
they could start
question.
cold. I don't know if they're playing any warm up games.
That's always the question, right? Like, is it going to be a matter of energy deficiency for the team that already played the match, or is it actually going to um, uh, be a positive factor and actually help the team that just won a match continue and give them a boost of confidence, but of energy as well? Because that usually happens whenever you win something, despite the fact that you spend a lot of time and a lot of energy trying to get that win, you get that boost of energy from that win. If you lose, then it just saps your whole energy bar.
So that was a pawn on a7 that White just grabbed there.
Yep.
And now the a
Well,
file is opened up, so I don't know if White's going to be able to use this to start an attack.
that knight on b3 is kind of controlling the a file for the moment.
That's true. And how exactly are you going to get rid of this knight? You'd have to leave. Okay, knight coming into d6, hitting the queen.
He wants to take on c4. So if you go queen c6, he takes on c4. I think right now he has to, black that is Bubachik, he has to take on d6 and sacrifice the exchange.
So there's the rook exchange. Now we're breaking through with e3 here. So
e3 followed by rook e8. Try to continue with
rook
e2.
e8 and e2 is looking pretty good. That fork.
It's still an exchange. The pawn on d6 is still very strong, but that knight on b3 is such a good piece.
And
queen e2. Okay, this is not
queen e2.
Not easy. Not easy for any of the sides. A very, very complex position.
Yeah, White's definitely cramped here, and I think the exchange sacrifice was well worth it, because this knight on b3 will never be able to be taken by the dark square bishop, and here the knight's coming in, insisting on this e2 pawn push. So where exactly this queen's going to go? You go
c2,
c2.
Like. Now the question is, can I go e2 and knight d3?
So White is up in exchange here. If e2, you grab the knight on c1 and then
knight d3 is a good move.
Yeah, saving the knight, saving e2 for later.
Queen a2, knight b6 to protect against checkmate on a8.
Exactly.
How do you defend that bishop on e1? So queen e2, you had to go back. Now I have to get rid of this pawn on d6 as black. But how to do that?
Do you think black would ever play knight c1 again here? Repeat a little bit?
Well, he could go knight d5, and then white is going to go queen a2, and then we're going to repeat. But I'm not 100% sure if he wants that. He's definitely looking for more. Now, the problem is that pawn on d6 is a real force for White's army as well.
Yeah, taking
And
away one of the flight squares of the king.
knight c1, as you predicted, Joe. Knight
And
c1, queen c2.
queen back to c2.
Maybe e2 right now, but e2 is a very committal move. You have to be extremely careful whenever you play e2.
Yeah, and that might give White the opportunity to sack the exchange back. And right now, the pawn on e3 is maybe more of an asset to keep and to hold on to, restricting this. Okay, well, e2 has been played.
He's going for it.
So the question here for White: do you save the rook or do you take the knight on c1? Okay, so they're saving. Oh, and now knight to d3.
Okay, knight takes c1. You got the piece, but I don't know.
Take rook, queen takes. Oh, also the knight's hitting the queen as well, and Luke just no time, 5 seconds.
That's the problem. It's such a complicated position, and with 5 seconds, it's going to be impossible to make the right decisions. Now I can just go back knight d3.
Knight to d3, yeah, save the knight, and it's two pieces.
He's looking for something else. I'm not 100% sure for what he's looking, but knight d3 just seems like a very normal move.
Yeah, when you have so much time, Luke's only got 3 seconds.
Rook a5. Wow.
Okay, no, trying to distract the queen from e8, but the tactic didn't work.
Yep. So an important victory. And by the way, I think, yes, so Grigori won his game. Michael Kleinman won his game, so that's 1-1. Bubachik won his game. That's 2-1 for Mizu on this round. And then we have 1 game left. Gordima with 2 minutes and 32 seconds. And Chess Elephant with 8 seconds.
Yeah, again, not a lot of time. UCLA's board 4 here. He's up a pawn, but he's definitely getting attacked. Actually, not up. What am I talking about?
No.
He's up, what is it? A queen? Down a queen.
Rook, a knight, and a couple of pawns, I think.
Okay. Yeah. But White's definitely laying a lot of pressure into this position here. You've got the knight, the pawn, the queen, everything pointing to this king side. And is that a free knight? Oh, so there's check first. There's a fork with the rook as well. And yeah, everything's going to fall apart. So let's look through this game real quick. Actually, I want to see how exactly they traded the queens here.
Should I let them know that they can start the game?
Yeah, the next round we can start for sure.
Already, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think the score is what, 7-1 at this point?
Yes.
Okay, I think the games have started.
Mm-hmm. So this is UCLA's board 2, the only player on the team with a point so far up against Oprah and Grigori. So going to be a tough match, as is all the teams. But we'll see if he can get 2 in a row. That'd be great.
Grigori is testing his Berlin. Quite an interesting choice. A very pacifist choice for black. He's usually a Caro-Kann player and sometimes a Sicilian. Obviously, he likes e5 as well. But it very much depends on who
grabbing on
against.
E4. So
he's going for it.
Oh,
he's going for
E4.
We're going for the
queen
Berlin
trade.
Game.
No castling anymore for black. King back to E8.
I should ban them from playing the Berlin Endgame in a blitz match.
Yeah.
In the Collegiate Chess League.
We
have to bring the fun to the Collegiate Chess League, Joe. I think Berlin has to be banned.
Okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind for next season. Maybe talk it over with some of the other coaches from other teams. But yeah, that's definitely.
I'm going to have a talk with him for sure.
You're gonna let him know if he loses this game, especially. Maybe it's not gonna be a talk. Maybe it's gonna be a stern lecture.
Yep. Unfortunately, we don't have any substitutes, but.
So yeah, and so the UCLA team, when they registered, they had a B team and a C team. Do you think Mizzou at any point is going to expand their teams and get maybe a B team as well?
That's the plan. Yeah, that's the plan. And probably we're going to start recruiting from the chess club at Mizzou as well. We have a chess club at Mizzou and a chess team, which are different entities. But I'm sure a lot of the guys from the chess club would like to compete in this new league.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the whole difference is between the team and the club, but I think that'd be really cool if you could get more club players involved, regardless of rating. I think the whole point of the Collegiate Chess League is to just try and get as many players involved as possible. But it is
Completely agree.
definitely it's a good thing when schools bring their A game, their A team, so to speak, their best players. I like this move from Michael Kleiman here, E6, attacking C7, obviously D7, F7. Um,
Yeah, he's sacrificing the e5 pawn, which had the potential of becoming a weakness in the future if black manages to block that, for the pawn on c7, which is a double pawn. So it's a weakness for a weakness almost, kind of an exchange. But you're going to create another weakness on e6, the pawn on e6.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and so here, this king's not castling, so we've lost castle rights, and you open up some files towards this king.
Yeah, I think you want to keep the king in center, play king e7, maybe rook d8, rook f8. Okay,
Rook
so
F8
he's
makes
focusing
sense.
on the attack on f2, which is fine. I think my players are telling me, yeah, we might have had some problems with the colors.
Yeah, I think they're all set now.
Other games. Hopefully they're all set now.
Yeah, so we have. Let's look at Crazy Girl against Julian Landau. So she's the only player from Mizzou that's lost a game, and I'm sure she's motivated here to get another win, get back on track.
Yep. I think it's important for the fans to connect with collegiate players in general, and that's why I want to ask you. Tell me a bit more about your team. What are their majors, years that they are in college right now?
Yeah, so
can you tell me a bit more about that?
Two of our players are undergrads, and the other two are grad students. So Jay Landau here, Julian, he is actually a med school student. He is actually part of the MD PhD program. So he's got his PhD, and now he's in his second to last year of MD, I believe. And our other grad school student is Michael Kleiman, the only player on the team that's gotten a point so far. I forgot his degree, but he's a PhD student. So
PhD student. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's the thing. In the Collegiate Chess League, you don't have to be undergrad. You just have to be a student. And yeah, the other two players, I believe Super Cheese, our board one, Luke Lee, is in his final year at UCLA. He's actually from New Zealand. And I like Julian's move here. It looks like he's skewered the queen and the rook. So is he going to take on F1 right now?
He's winning an exchange. My girl is just losing exchange after exchange every single game.
Yeah, got forked against Michael Kleiman and got skewered here against Julian. So Julian's taking some time here, deciding to take on F1 finally. And I guess one good thing for white is that you have this bishop, the light square bishop, as opposed to black, who only has the dark square bishop. So it's going to be a very strong defensive piece for white. And Julian's going to have to find another way to kind of trade it out if you want to break through. And I'm not sure entirely about Daniel Yedidia because I believe he's a freshman, and so I didn't go to school with him. I graduated in 2018, but he's definitely an awesome addition to this A team, and he's done some fantastic work so far as our board 4 anchor.
No, absolutely. You guys have a strong team.
Yeah, we were ranked 7th overall at the beginning of the season, and here we're in the semifinals. So we took down number 4 team, University of Michigan. We took down Harvard, who was ranked number 6, and then we beat Princeton, who was ranked number 5. So yeah, definitely. I don't know if you would call them upsets, but definitely we have been the bottom seed team for quite a few matches now. And yeah, these players.
Did you guys win against Chicago also?
Yeah, so to get here in the quarterfinals, U Chicago actually beat Texas Tech, who was ranked number
which
3.
was a huge surprise. Huge surprise.
Yeah, and UCLA was able to beat U Chicago, who was ranked number 8 overall, to get here. So yeah, and Mizzou has been UCLA's only loss so far this season. So we'll see if that's gonna happen again here today.
So Crazy Girl is definitely struggling right now, as we are seeing this game. It doesn't seem like, okay, she has some compensation because of the light squares, Bishop, as you were mentioning, but not more than that. The exchange will have to have its say in the future. It's just a matter of technique at this point. Probably go rook to a7, double up on the c file, and then try to enter via c2 potentially. It's not looking good for white. It's just not. And the bishop on b5 is a nice piece, but it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah. And all that being said, Julian is, he's giving some thought here. So if, he gets into time pressure, maybe Crazy Girl can find a way back into this game. She's up
somebody's
over a
saying
minute.
She watched too much Ben Feingold. Is he a master of giving up exchanges? Do you know anything about that, Joe?
Oh, I'm not too sure. We'd have to ask him. But I do know that Ben never plays f6 or f3, and neither of these players have done that so far. So
I think you should always play f6.
Always. So
almost always.
Do you tell your players that advice?
No.
Okay.
I would get fired if I would say that.
And good luck to Mizzou to find a replacement, because you're definitely one of the more involved coaches. I know you've been streaming your team's matches on your channel, which is appreciated definitely by us and the players as well. And I've been trying to stream the UCLA matches on my channel as well. So hopefully you'll continue doing that. And I know some of your players stream.
For sure. Yeah.
I haven't seen them stream any of the matches yet, I don't think.
I'm encouraging them to stream, but I don't think there's any reason for them to stream their matches as long as I do it.
That makes sense.
I just want them to focus on their own matches.
Yeah.
But if you don't have somebody that's streaming for the team, I definitely think that one of the players should, every team should have a presence within this the Twitch community.
For sure.
Sphere, and connect with the fans.
Yeah.
Much.
And Julian definitely has streamed at least one of the UCLA matches. And I made sure to tell him, if you think it's going to slow you down at all, if you think it's going to affect your games, don't do it. And he told me he's good to go, and we ended up winning that match. So do you think streaming has to be more of a distraction than
you
it
have
can't
to get
really...
used to it. You have to get used to it. It very much depends on the energy. I feel if you get on tilt while you're streaming, it amplifies that. It basically amplifies whatever your emotion is. So if you're feeling good about your play, then streaming and then getting the positive energy from the chat definitely helps you with your game. But
Black has taken that bishop on b5.
I like this bishop e7. Sorry, I was watching a different game.
Which one are you looking at?
I was actually looking at Gordima against Super Cheese against Gordima.
All right. Yeah, this is UCLA's board 1, up on the clock.
Yeah, and I liked White's last move, bishop e7.
Bishop e7, attacking d6.
Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% sure how he's going to defend against that.
Yeah, that's...
Probably knight b5, but knight b5 is met with a4. And then I'm going to take on d6. So what's the defense? Maybe bishop f8, but knight b5. Okay, so he's going for it.
And if you take with the bishop recaptures, and that rook on f1 is trapped. So I definitely like the a4 idea. We'll see if Luke finds it.
I think he has to play it a4, but I feel there are still some ideas for black. I'm just not seeing them.
a4. There it is,
so
on the board.
a4 was played.
Knight to d4.
Okay.
So
no, you probably want to take on d4 first.
Take back with the bishop, right?
Check this out. I think this is his plan. So I think after taking on d4, he wants to play bishop e5.
e5, kicking
bishop
out the
e5.
Queen, intermezzo, and
That's
blocking
a crazy move.
the
I'm
blocking
not
the
100%
rook.
sure if he's going to do it.
So the queen would have to move to somewhere like g5.
Or take on e5. I think what he's calculating is rook takes e5, d takes e5, queen takes e5, c takes d4, followed by d6. And he's trying to understand whether he has enough compensation, white that is, for the exchange. And I think he does have enough compensation. So I think bishop e5 is met with rook takes e5.
There's
He's thinking about it. He's definitely
while they're
thinking,
let's look over. Oh, so taking with the
he
pawn.
yeah.
Okay,
But that's
and
just
now,
a pawn now.
d6 is gonna fall.
Yeah, that's just
there it goes. Oh, we got a result. Michael Kleiman has lost to Operin.
Operin, yes.
Yeah,
so
up a piece there, so promoting through. And let's look
also,
at
Julian won.
beat. Okay, so we're getting some points back.
Julian won against.
Yeah, Crazy Girl had no time at all. So awesome stuff from Julian. And let's look at Bubachik versus Chess Elephant. So this is UCLA's board 4. There's a mate threat on g7.
There's no way to defend against that. You have to go bishop h8. But that's just
because if you bring the queen back, the rook's hanging, and the bishop's guarding c7. So trying to get the queens off. King's gonna have to step over, and look at how fast White's playing with over a minute left. Really putting the pressure on Daniel here with only 4 seconds left on the clock. And yeah, that bishop on h8.
He's defending well. Black is defending well. I like what... Oh, queen takes h7. That shouldn't be a good move for Black.
Black trying to get the queens off, but missing this. I think maybe could have tried to go back, and now knight hitting the queen.
He should have went back with the king g8.
Yeah. You got to move the queen. Yeah.
Queen f5 back. Try to get back to c8.
Take e4. Pawn.
Queen takes e4. Yeah. Okay.
Why not
pick up
queen? There's a fork. All right. That's too many pawns. There's a resignation. We got one game left. So let me put some points on the board.
So I think right now is 9-2.
Should
we
be.
have one more game in this round. Yeah. One more game in this round.
So Gordima is... Gordima against Luke. So, yeah, definitely.
It's looking good for UCLA.
Yeah, Luke was playing this pretty well to win that pawn.
He played a really good.
And he's up a lot of time. At least Gordima barely any time left. Hitting that d4 pawn.
Okay, g5 is a good move. Kind of the only move.
If we have rook to g4, then h5.
You probably wanted to go rook to f5, but is your rook getting trapped at that point? No, I don't think so. Rook f5 seems to be like the best move.
Well, rook f5, and then what does white do after bishop to e4?
Rook b5. Oh, rook takes f6.
Sacking.
Wow.
Now taking here. Okay, so giving black some chances. I'm sure Gordima liked to see that, right?
Bishop e4 now, yeah. Actually, no, bishop e4 is met by bishop takes e4 and bishop b6. Yeah, this is looking good for still looking good for
there's
white.
Another
bishop
pawn.
b6.
So we got the bishop pair here.
It's just too many pawns. I'm going to probably take on g5, then take on h7. I'm going to have three pawns on the king side. Unless a miracle happens.
Okay, so there goes the b pawn. Centralizing the bishops. There goes the a pawn, and now just running with the g pawn. There's a check.
It's starting to get a bit iffy for white.
There's a check. Going with the h pawn now. This bishop blocking h5. King stepping up. There could have been a check, I think, but the king would just get out of the way. Yeah, so this bishop here attacking the g6 pawn. There goes the a pawn. 7 seconds for Gordima. The bishop's coming to f6.
The a pawn is going.
This king's going to try to come to g5, right?
Okay, king g5. Yeah, but this is just going to be a draw now.
Takes, you got to take, rook takes, and then push the pawns.
It seems like he saved it. It seems like Gordima saved it.
Can you play bishop to g6? No.
Okay, so rook to a1, he's going from behind. There's a check. King to h7 probably has to be played. Yeah. Now if you go f5, Can I take? Yeah, I can take. I can take on
Take
h6,
and it's a
king
draw.
g7,
Mm-hmm.
king f7. You don't have
It's
the
just a draw.
opposition, and that's a draw. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Luke's on the board now. He's got half a point. So
Yeah.
everyone from UCLA's got some points besides our board 4.
Yeah.
And Daniel is going to be playing against your fourth board, Begim, who
Yeah, and I think right now the match score is 9.5 to 2.5.
yeah. So Mizzou has clinched the win, but we're playing on. We've got one round left. So yeah, UCLA already beating their previous score against you guys, so they have improved, which at this point, that's really all we can hope for. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see Daniel try his best against Begim. And I'm sure Begim's going to try her best because she's 1 out of 3 so far today.
She's not having a good day so far. Hopefully she's going to step it up against Lou, because right now her form is not looking good.
All right, I'm just looking at Gordima's game here against Michael Kleiman. These are the board 2s going at it. The final round. Mizzou has already won, and SLU now knows who their opponent will be. And Mizzou also knows they're moving on to the finals, so that's exciting.
Yeah, and I think we're going to take a short break after the semifinals.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 5-10 minute break, and then we're going to come back with the finals. And I think we're going to be joined by SLU's coach, Alejandro Ramirez.
Yeah, so
also known as Little Peasant in the Twitch chat for everybody.
Giving out his secret identity.
I think everybody knows him as Little Peasant in the online community. He's been quite active.
So yeah. After this round, we're gonna do about a 10-minute break. We're gonna bring in Alejandro, and yeah,
and I see we have already some SLU support in the chat. White Noise is saying go SLU. Sorry, Chirila, you're great. Thank you very much, White Noise.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to forgive you for supporting SLU. I'm joking.
I'm sure White Noise is also cheering on UCLA. Huh? Niger's also in the chat, a fellow SLU player. Although she wasn't registered as one of the players for the SLU team, I definitely have been trying to encourage her to stream some of the matches. And there's actually a tournament that I'm going to be talking a bit more about towards the end of the stream.
Mm-hmm.
April 19th coming up. There's a big tournament, and I hope all of your players are going to register. I know I saw some of them already in the club.
They should be in already, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be exciting.
If they're not, they will be. It's going to be a very exciting tournament.
So
more on that a bit later.
Yeah, exactly. For now, we still got 4 games left in this round 4 here, the last round of the semifinals. Do you like White's position here? I think White's king's definitely a little bit safer. Black's missing that f pawn, and the bishop on h6 isn't too pleasant.
I like White because of this bishop on g2 being quite active and having this potential target on d5. So once my knight from f3 moves, you're going to have to worry about the pawn on d5. And I don't see a way for Black to create or destabilize the position in the center. Like, he went e5, and obviously he's trying to make something happen in the center, but it doesn't seem he has enough forces and enough coordination. So I do like White at this point. Like, I'm expecting something along the lines of knight h2, try to kick the bishop from g4 away, and then potentially f4 at the right moment, open up the position, and just have the more dynamic pieces. And what I do like is that my king on g1 is much safer than your king on g8.
Exactly.
At least it feels like it.
So c4 here, do you think Black should play d4?
He's facing a difficult choice. c4 is a good move. Look, you're giving up the d4 square, but you're gaining some very important squares as well for your pieces, specifically the pawn, the square e4. So for example, if you go d4, I'm going to go knight e4, and I'm going to get that immense square, and you're not going to get the square d4 for your knight. So if I would be black, I would probably take on c4 or just wait for white to take on d5. At least I have the d4 square for my knight.
Yeah, and otherwise, yeah, this d5 square, definitely a central point that you brought up earlier with the bishop. I could see the knight on e7 is pretty important, also with some control over d5, and especially if that knight or the bishop lands there with check, you probably would have to take that immediately. But here black's going in with d4 with the knight instead of the pawn. Don't you think this helps white? Yeah, the knight's gonna move. Actually, that pawn's just hanging in.
An interesting. Actually, I think he missed this. I think he just missed this. There's absolutely no reason to allow this as black.
E5 falls, and that's with tempo as well. And that's definitely.
It's easy to miss this type of things. This type of close knight moves. You go knight d4 and you're expecting an exchange immediately on d4, but then you realize the pawn on e5 just doesn't have a defender anymore. So it's an easy move to miss.
Now d5 is going to fall with check nonetheless, and this is looking really tough.
Yeah.
Those are two really big pawns, and now white can double up on the e-file if they want to.
I think that's the right approach. Actually, no. Be careful. The bishop on h6 is unprotected.
Yeah, knight on f5 hitting h6, so that is important. But yeah, the bishop maybe kind of come back like f4 or
black actually has some compensation.
Or g5.
Black has some compensation right now because you're probably going to have to take on e8, and I'm going to take back with the rook. And then you're going to have to move the bishop from h6. And then something is going to happen with that knight potentially jumping to c2 or to e2. Maybe the bishop jumps to e2. Black definitely has some chances.
What do you think about bishop to f4 right now?
92 check. And then I'm going to take on f4.
Yeah, because the rook.
So he's trying to go to f6. This is an important move by white.
That's a strong. These bishops are taking a lot of squares away from this king side. So, do you think e2? Black's gonna put a piece on e2 right now, or?
It's difficult to say which piece. If you go bishop e2, I go queen h3, and then the knight on f5 is going to be pinned. So I'm going to take one of your resources away. You're going to take the pawn on d3, but I already have how many pawns up? I'm 2 pawns up, I think. So I can give one back. That's fine. Knight e2, it feels like the more natural choice. The problem is, how are you going to continue after that? You need to find a sacrificial sequence to be able to do something.
So you think
black.
Maybe g3 now is a target, or I like this move, right? Getting off the diagonal. So like you said, if queen h3, the knight's no longer pinned, and it's also guarding the f6 square. So very good purpose move here for black.
Wait, but knight e4? I think
knight e4, yeah, that takes f6 right back, and white plays it immediately, and the rook has been taken. I mean, the rook takes, so sacking the exchange here.
You probably have to take with the bishop back to defend the square f3. What's the problem with bishop takes e4? Is he going to take on g3?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Right? Takes on g3. Yeah, the bishop.
It's still a game. It's still a game.
The bishop's needed to guard f3. So is black gonna sack? That's the question.
Well, he has to do something, because otherwise it's just two pawns and an exchange down.
Would you start with knight e2 check and then sack on g3?
Knight e2, I'm going to go with, let's say, king to g2, let's say.
G2 makes sense.
Yeah. So if you take on g3, let's say you take with the f knight. The question is, can I take back on g3? And then after you take with the queen on g3, I can just go king to h1. And I don't think you have enough resources to checkmate me. And if you don't, you're just a rook down.
Yeah.
And it's white who gives checkmate.
So Michael's looking at this. He goes h2.
The same idea. So basically, if you take on g3, I'm simply going to take back.
Do you think h6 is too slow?
I think
Trying to
it's too
take on
slow because of
h4.
bishop takes f5.
Yeah.
Bishop takes f5, and then you're going to
Well,
take on f5. I'm
there's
going to take on
h6.
h6. Yeah. You don't have enough pieces as black.
The bishop's still hit, so.
I
But
like
yeah,
rook
there's.
e1 actually. I like rook e1 at this point.
So you're saying take the knight on e2 with the rook, and then.
Rook e1, you're going to take my bishop, and I'm going to take on e2. I just want to simplify the position at this point.
It's played.
I want to exchange pieces.
Okay,
and he
queen
doesn't want to take
takes.
on g5. Yeah, queen takes g3, and now bishop e3 maybe. Still not easy. Still not easy. Those light squares around the king are nothing to play with.
King stepping up. That's interesting. Do you want to look at the board ones? It looks like Luke is
down
on
to his last 1 second,
yeah,
and I think he actually lost. So Oparin scores another important victory for Mizu, and he finishes with 4 out of 4. So
yeah, flawless.
That's a good start for Grigory.
Let's look at Julian's game. So he's
Julian
also very low on the clock.
That seems like a very equal position right now.
But the time.
Maybe Black does have a bit of an edge.
Yeah, the 2-on-1 outside majority. It's definitely.
Maybe I can go rook to e2. Rook to e2 followed by bishop d3 seems to be. Maybe rook to e2 followed by rook takes h2, depending on where you're going to put your king. Bishop to d3, okay. Rook c8, king. I don't like this bishop d3.
So bishop e3, preventing the rook from getting into e2.
Yeah, this is not looking that good for... Well, not anymore. It feels like, okay, if you go rook c4, then it's just going to be a draw. If you exchange the rooks, it's just going to be a draw. But if you don't, then what else? Okay, a4.
Yeah, black's pushing the majority. King stepping up. Let's go back real quick to Michael's game. It's Gordima. Yeah, he's just lost here.
That one is not looking good.
Yeah, 2-1 on both sides. All right. And back to Julian's game. He's got 5 seconds.
And also, I think a very interesting game is the one between Chess Elephant and Crazy Girl.
Okay, we'll look at that. Okay. Both under 15 seconds. So yeah, this is Daniel's last chance to get a point. He's up a pawn. Oh, he's trying to get knight f8 check.
Oh, yeah. No, white is looking good. He's a pawn up, and black simply doesn't have...
Oh, boy. How do you stop knight f8? Knight f8. Is there a mate?
Unfortunately. I don't see the checkmate, but I don't think you need the checkmate.
Queen to f8?
Just queen on the 7th rank.
Queen, yeah, e7.
Queen e7. It's a very good move, because now you don't have f5. I'm going to go g3, and when you play f5, I have knight f8, and the queen on e5 is hanging. So there's actually no way. Queen e7 was key.
Beautiful move.
Create this potential.
Wow, so Daniel taking down the board 4. He's getting a point on the board, so well done to him. And I think all the games have finished, so...
Yep. Bubacic won his game as well.
Yeah, Julian lost. No time on the clock. What ended up happening here? It was the pawn majority was too strong after a2.
Yeah, he put the pawn on a3, and now just b3 came along, and you don't have time to defend with the bishop on the a1 h8 diagonal. So after rook to a8, I just simply go bishop e4 followed by bishop takes a8. That's game over. Well,
very well done, and congrats to this Mizzou team. I think we're gonna go to a short break, about 10 minutes. And
So what was the final score?
so
Okay, 11 and a half to
get
3
that.
and a half.
I think it was 12 and a half, 3.5. Let's see who just
12
won.
and a half to 3 and a half.
I think your board 3 got 4 out of 4, right?
Grigory got 4 out of 4. Board number 1.
I think it's right now.
Board number 3, Bubachik, I think got 4 out of 4 as well. And Begim 1 out of 3. 1 out of 4, sorry. And I guess 2.5 for Dmitry Gordima.
So yeah, congrats, man. You're going to the finals. I'm sure your players are excited. I'm sure you're excited. And now you got a big matchup against Slu coming up. So
big matchup. So you guys shouldn't go anywhere. I guess we're going on a small break.
Yeah, about 10 or so minutes. And we're going to get Alejandro to join us. So Grandmaster Coach from Slu will also be doing some commentary. So stick around and
Cool.
We'll be right back.
Cool. Let's take a small break.
So, okay, I'm going to have to do 2 things. I need to add Alejandro. I need to add the new scoreboard. And it's going to be tough because there's going to be less space for the scoreboard. So I'm going to have to figure that out.
So what's up? What's up, Christian?
What is up, Alejandro? Good to have you.
Good to have you as well. It's just the finals. I saw your match against UCLA. That went very well.
It did. It did. It went well.
All right.
Smooth for the most part, but of course there were some hiccups along the way.
Are you concerned at all that it wasn't as good as the first time you met UCLA, where you beat them 14-2?
Not necessarily. I think every match is different. Like I said at the beginning, I think it's very important just that we win and then start off with a clean slate.
All right.
The next match, but I think it's going to be a fun match nonetheless.
And
Yeah, this is gonna be very close. Last time we played was winners bracket finals, and that was very close because even though we won basically before the last round you guys crushed us.
Yes. We did, but I mean, to be honest, I think you guys went 8-4 into the last round, so you only needed half a point. Most of your players, I would have assumed, were okay with a draw, so that's psychologically that's also plays a role, I guess. I think the match was pretty much 99% over at that point.
That's true. So we'll have a pretty interesting match here. I'd say the rating gap is not too big. I'd say Slu's slightly favored on Chess.com ratings, but it's not very much, right? Anything could happen.
No, absolutely. It's going to be a fun match, Alejandro. You guys brought the big guns. You didn't play Zvierch the whole season. Now you.
Actually, we played him for the first match.
Okay.
Yeah, the one we went like 15-1.
yeah, so Slu and Mizzou have played each other already, and that ended up being 9-7 in favor of Slu, right?
9-7, yeah.
And that's actually really close because you only need, 1 point swing in the other direction, and it's a tight game. So we'll see. Obviously, Mizzou's come back prepared. They wanna change the outcome this time, and
if I'm not mistaken, I might be. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was tied at halfway, or like 4.5, 3.5 for Slu, and then we lost the third round.
Yeah, it was something like that. The third
either
round really
3.5
well
or 4-0, something like that. And it was just bad. So, I think the strategy is. Well, I'm not gonna review my strategy.
Oh man, come on,
Never mind.
Yeah,
Forget about it.
Last minute coaching changes here.
Forget about it.
Oh man, spilling the beans before it even starts.
No.
All right.
So this is the actual finals. Slu versus Mizzou for the Collegiate Chess League. It went on for a couple months, and it was a lot of fun. I think my players had quite a lot of fun. We were able to get most of the team involved, which is not something we're always able to do.
Yeah, and maybe I should ask you a bit later, but I see one of your potential players, Niger, in the chat, wasn't now on your team. I'm wondering why not, and why you couldn't get another team going. But
probably for next season, I think.
Next season.
Just having one team was a lot to manage, and if she wants to manage the B team, we can maybe let her.
That'd be fun. But anyways, yeah, the players are ready. They can send their challenges whenever, and we're good to go. So.
All right, let's wait. I guess the Mizzou players will be challenging Slu, and we can start whenever they're ready.
And hopefully next season we can get some automatic pairings going, which I think would be a lot of fun for the players and make life a little bit easier for them.
Yeah, certainly. All right. Everything ready, Christian?
Yeah, I told my players to start their games, so I guess we're just waiting for the challenges to come. Let me make sure I'm following my players.
I think I'm following your players, so we can see the things from the same perspective.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm following the Mizzou players. All right, so we got the first
All right,
game.
so here we go. Where are we going
to
to
focus? At least one of them has started, right?
Yeah.
Collegiate versus Daro, 94.
Yeah, this one is actually a mismatch in standard classical chess. I think it's a 200-point difference, but in Blitz, you can see it's only a 9-point difference on Chess.com. Anything could really happen.
And I just want to point out, Daro is one of the streamers from Slu, so I think at least 2 of them stream.
I think
Daro.
all of them except Nico really stream. I don't know if Francesco does it anymore, but he used to at least.
Okay.
I haven't seen Rambaldi doing it recently. I know Jibaritos, that is Darius Schwartz, is quite active, and I think the Last Samurai was also quite active at some point.
Yeah,
I'm not
the
100%
last
sure about
samurai
now.
being JJ, Jamil Jan Ali Morandi. But yeah, we have a lot of active streamers. I'm actually very curious about this Oparin game that he's playing against JJ. This is a bizarre opening.
From Oparin's point of view, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's just throwing all the pawns forward.
We have the Dutch.
Oh man,
And a
he's
piece.
sacrificing a piece.
Get
You
the
know,
queen.
JJ, he never says no to sacrificing a piece. I think you can actually take.
You
that
have to take it.
bishop.
I have to.
I don't think you
so.
have a choice either, right? If you don't take it, your position is really
You can
busted.
go knight f6, but after knight f6, e5, I think that's a big problem. Because you're
agree
going to
with
take
you.
on f4, I'm going to take on f6, and then if I take on f6, I'm going to be a pawn up. But my king is completely naked, and I have like triple pawns. Which is...
Oh man, no, you have to take the bishop. I don't know if it's a great position even then for black. Okay, I'll go queen h5, king d7.
Well, he played it so fast.
I know, I know.
JJ played it so
ready for
fast.
this.
Maybe
JJ
he knows
is
something.
not one to back up from a piece sacrifice. If he's giving the chance to piece sacrifice, even if it's not sound, he'll do it.
He
So
took
there
it.
it is. There it is.
I don't think he had a choice. Bishop c4, taking that tempo to cover the e6 square.
The idea
So queen
is
takes
that...
f5 is actually checkmate threat.
Yes.
c6
is a
giving
good
c7.
move.
I like that move a lot from your student.
You have to play it to hide to c7.
It's too
you
bad
have
bishop
to find
e6
the dark
doesn't
square.
do anything.
Bishop e6, yeah. That would be a nice move. That would be a nice move. And I think that was his plan. So for example, if black would have played e6 to try to open up the position, bishop takes c6 might have been a problem.
Yeah, no, I like what Oparin is doing, hiding the king on c7. White has plenty of compensation, but it's still a piece.
Yeah.
A piece is a piece, and it's the dark square bishop, which is just a monster, and it doesn't have an opponent right now.
Yeah.
I
mean,
have
the
to favor
king
black at this point.
I have to agree. It is really nice to sacrifice pieces like this and go for the offensive, but it's a piece, and bullets, anything can happen. In normal chess, I would say black wins this most of the time.
Yeah,
That's the thing. There's other factors in the middle that play into the assessment of this position.
Definitely.
Yeah, but black's getting out pretty easily. Bishop g4, knight d7, e5.
Trying to trade off the queens here, but JJ is keeping the queens on, obviously. But do you think that JJ is a little nervous being board 4 against board 1 and trying to get into these unorthodox openings?
Nah, this is the type of chess he thrives in. There's a lot of craziness going on everywhere, I feel. I mean, Darius sacrificing an exchange.
I think Darius is just winning at this point.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait, but he's down an exchange.
He's down, yeah.
He is, but after c5, what do you do?
Well, when you put it that way.
You probably have to go knight c2, but that just looks so off for white.
So yeah,
I guess it's still playable, right? I'm wondering if he's thinking about bishop h6 being a stronger move.
Knight c2.
But knight c2.
Anything
anyway,
you do, I go knight c2. There's nothing else I can do at this point.
So maybe like queen c5, but that looks already a little artificial.
Now, if you give me a couple of moves, I will go knight c3 and rook d1, and I'm fine as white.
Yeah, I agree, but on queen c5 and also queen e7, I think he wants to take on e3. And that's actually a very annoying take, because at the very least I get my exchange and the pawn back.
And
So
now
he
if
does
you go
rook f3.
defending e3.
Yeah, I don't know if I have chances to play knight d7, knight e5. That seems maybe like it's asking too much of the position.
Objectively, I think this position is really bad for white. Now, the problem is that you don't have that much time and you have to prove it. It just looks completely off for white at this point.
No, I agree. I have to agree that black does look better, but still a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
You look at Kriari's game, the board 1 from Slew.
Maybe if we could go back to Oparin's game, because that one's the juiciest one, right? And I think it's what the fans want to see.
The piece sacrifice.
The piece sacrifice. It's the one I want to see. I don't know what's going on. There's... Okay, it's a piece for a pawn, but the knight on f4 is currently...
Why did he take that pawn? What is this?
Maybe he missed his
What is this
94
nonsense?
move. 94 was actually a really important move, holding on to that g5 knight, so that the diagonal remains closed. It looks like d5 or something like this would be very strong, but I don't know if you have time for it. And there you go, d5 played. You have to take on f4. There's no choice there. And
No, but rook f7 is coming.
but yeah,
what is
rook
this?
e7 I can take on f7. Remember,
Okay, but even that is not clear because
not
the rook
clear.
on h8 is hanging at the end.
I don't know if it's not clear. I'll take on f7, take on f7, bishop takes d2 check. I'll take. The rook moves somewhere, and there's still this fork, right? d5
You're
is
right.
attacking both bishop and
Yep.
knight on e4.
So queen e7 is still hanging on by a thread, it feels like.
Exactly.
All right, so he takes
Fine.
on d5. So queen a5 check might be a very strong follow-up.
Queen a5, b6, queen takes d5, knight c6. I think this is going to be the sequence.
No, you can't play knight f6, knight c6
Knight
because rook
c6.
f7, and the queen is defending the f7 square. So
So
you're gonna
what
have to
does
go
he have in
b6,
mind?
queen takes d5, and maybe bishop b7 holds miraculously. Kind of hard to believe though.
You
I
can't
have to
take on
praise
A8.
Chemil Chan. He always plays very fast, and I think that's a very good practical approach for this time control.
Yeah, he is a very good practical player in this type of positions, and also in time management, he's definitely good, like really, really good. This
So
actually
what's
starts to
the
look
plan?
really bad for Oparian.
Hmm.
I mean, material
What's the plan
is
after bishop
balanced.
e7?
Queen c4, I think, and
Just queen
rook
c4
f7.
check.
Queen c4 check looks extremely strong. There you go, queen c4 played. Ooh.
Yeah, this one is not looking good.
So that would be a
Although-
really big win for Slew to upset the board one from Mizzou.
Absolutely. Although, as far as Slew goes, all the ratings are so similar, it's hard to really call anybody
And board one
so
through
much
4.
stronger. I mean, our first board is an IM, which is unusual.
That's a good point.
So king to d8 is the only move, but no, those
Yeah, but
knights.
this
That
check-
king is just so weak.
It's just so weak. I can even take on
not looking
h6,
good.
which I think is good technique on the next move, and just say materials even, and I'm sure that there will be some tactic.
Yeah, knight takes h6 followed by rook f7.
Yeah, that
Seems
that
to
looks like
be
it's game over.
The
And there
winning
you go,
way.
knight h6 played. Yeah, this is completely hopeless now.
Man, what a
All
game.
right. No, that was an excellent game
Starting off hot.
by JJ. Last 7 samurai. I guess we can switch out. I don't see JJ.
Yeah,
and
he's
he's actually won
resigned.
already. Let's see.
I'm looking at Kriari against Crazy Guard, so the other board 1 versus board 4 matchup.
Yeah, that's an important game. We can go there. Kriari against Crazy Girl, and Nicolas Theodoro with the black pieces. I mean, it's not the easiest 2 pawns, but it does feel like it's just 2 pawns.
It is 2 pawns, and the rook behind the pawn just
Yeah.
magnifies the advantage, and it
C5,
doesn't feel like
C4.
white simply doesn't have any targets. The king on f7 is actually extremely safe for black.
Yeah, the only problem is creating some progress, but because I'm a little bit tied up as black, but I don't know if I have too much to worry about. I mean, queen h6 is something I always have to consider, but for now, the rook on d7 is hanging. That being said, I'm trying to find black's next move.
Okay.
Rook c6, okay, with the
C6.
idea of rook d6. Kind of like that.
Gotta trade off.
Yeah.
He
that
needs to
makes a lot of sense.
exchange, and it feels like rook d6 might be.
So rook d6
Now,
now.
I feel a key match right now, given what we see on the other boards, is the one between Gordima and Karep, Francesco Rambaldi as white against Dmitry Gordievsky.
Ooh, that one is just anything could happen. Although
Daro
maybe
only
we should
has
go to
20
Daru's
seconds left.
game.
Well,
We have
Daro
20
is
seconds.
in
He's
kind of a
struggling to
pickle
find a
right
move
now.
here. Yeah, he's cramped.
He is.
Queen f8.
Yeah, maybe we can switch to that game.
Yeah.
Oh man, what happened? But I also don't like his time management. It just looks so bad.
That's the big problem.
That's the big problem because how's the position on the board? I mean, I'm down the exchange as black. Your
I can
structure's
take on
really
b7
bad.
maybe. I can just start picking up some pawns.
Yeah,
Take
this
on
doesn't
b7.
feel like it's enough for black as compensation. I wouldn't be so scared of queen takes b7 though.
So
feel
you
if
want
I
to take
can-
on d7 and just move the queen away.
Yeah, on the other hand, if I do that and I get bishop h6 as black, okay, you're still down the exchange. But your structure is so much better, and the bishop's on e6 is very strong, the bishop on g2 a bit controlled. It would still require a lot of technique.
It's
On the
not
other hand,
easy. It's
yeah,
not
it's not
easy.
easy. It's not as easy as it looks. I know that Darius is a very resourceful player. I'm kind of surprised he got all the way here, though. Ooh, why
Ooh,
did
that's
you
a
give
fork.
up the...
So the
And it
exchange
feels
is black,
like-
but you're helping the pawn structure, right?
You're helping the pawn structure a lot.
I think Crazy Girl is going to get checkmated. She missed. She picked up the pawn on g6, but I think she missed the checkmate with the queen and the bishop. So after
Oh, that's a
taking
very
on
nice
d5,
checkmate,
queen
and I
e2.
think we're gonna see it on the board.
Yeah.
With queen e2 check.
No.
And that game has actually
Thanks.
resigns queen e2, and there's a checkmate on h1 at the end.
So going back to Bubacik versus Daro,
this is key.
He did take on b7, rook b8, queen takes c6. So he started picking up. Oh, but the rook is not on f4 anymore. What happened? Okay, rook to d1. I like what white is doing.
Yeah, he's the up 2 pawns. Yeah, Repka is a huge favorite here. That time disadvantage is just so costly. The game's not over, but yeah, the structure is now bad, and the king is now weakened on h8
Maybe
because
c5.
you have to take on e6.
Maybe get that pawn going down the board.
The c5 looks logical. Yeah, rook d3 also looks good. I feel there's many ways to win this. Just white's king needs to make sure it's safe because knight g4 was maybe an idea.
Did he have knight g4?
I don't actually know if it works though.
Trying to get the queen in to h4.
I'm still wondering if it works.
Yeah, knight g4 maybe
hides on d4 at the end. It's a very crazy variation, but I think you can take that.
Yeah.
Right,
now it's pretty hopeless though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. At least that gave a glimmer of hope. But
yeah,
I don't know
c8,
if it actually works.
Rook c8, rook c7 is coming.
Yeah, this looks rook d2 just encourage, rook c1 just encourages rook c8.
c5 just push the pawn.
I like bishop c6.
Bishop c6 is also a very good move. Yeah.
Just wins, I think.
Okay, Bubacik keeping us in the game.
Yeah, that's an important win there.
Keeping Mizu in the match because it's already 2-0 for Slu.
Running out of time. I don't know why.
Yeah, this is not over yet. Queen takes h5.
Wow.
Nice move.
Ooh, nice move. So many
Pawns
pins.
pinned, knight's pinned, everything's pinned.
I gotta appreciate that one. Yeah, you're just getting mated on h7.
Wow, what a tactic.
Big blow.
Daro
nice tactic
going
there.
Down.
All right. And Gordima is looking good as well with the rook on d4.
I love his position, but
anything can happen in this one.
Yeah, because I can still go knight c3, knight d5 as white. The question is if I have time, because c4 will be hanging. So knight c3, and you can see last move by black was knight e8, trying to go knight d6, knight takes c4. The pawn on c4 very weak.
Yeah, this is one of those battles between these completely dominant central squares. Yeah. I have the d4 square, you have the d5 square. Who's going to get there first? Who's going to place the right piece on that square?
No hesitation there on sacrificing the d4 rook. Yeah. I don't even know if you take it as white. Knight d2 looks like a better move, and there you go. Just holding on to the position. It looks like white's on the verge of collapsing, but black doesn't have too many breaks or too many moves.
Queen e7 makes a lot of sense. Now, if you take on d4, I'm going to take back with the e-pawn and then go f5.
I don't think he's ever going to take on d4, to be honest. It's not very pleasant to leave the rook there, but I think he's going to maneuver the other pieces slowly. Yeah, bishop f3, bishop g4.
So is f5 on the table at any point? Or is
the problem with
soon?
f5 visually is that you have 3 major pieces on the e-file as white. The rook on e3, the queen on e2, and the rook on e1 that are going to say thank you for playing f5.
So open it up, right?
Yeah.
I would like to prepare it with king g7. So king g7, and then if you go bishop g4, then I'm going to go f5.
That's an interesting point to play f5, because with the bishop on c3, there might be some tactics, but maybe not. Now, something about Gordima, he's pretty slow.
He is, yeah. It seems like he's getting low on time. Still, 14 seconds against 20-something seconds, and we have a 2 seconds increment, so let's not forget about that. He's keeping the tension. Who's going to break the tension first? Is white going to take on d4? Is black going to go f5? That's the question right now.
I like this move a4, just solidifying the position, asking black what he wants to do.
Oh, draw.
I like that draw
G8.
offer.
Draw offer. And accepted.
By who?
Wow.
So offered by Slu and accepted by
draw
Gordima.
offer. Wow.
Grandmaster draw there.
Wow.
I think they didn't want to risk the low time situation.
That's the thing. The tension is so high in this position that it's so difficult to find a plan. Like, what is black's plan? Queen g8, f6, and try to take on c4. Like, what's white's plan? Once that is on play, are you going to take on d4 and allow that defended pass pawn on d4? It's a very tense position, and every single move can be a huge blunder.
Yeah, this was a really weird game. I'm not surprised of the draw decision. but quite a process of mine to draw there. And I think we have some of the games starting already. I see Kriari against Bacic. So we are leading 2.5, 1.5, which is really not a very comfortable lead, but
No,
I
it's
think JJ can
definitely
feel
even.
very good about that game, beating Oparin with a
Oh yeah.
piece sacrifice on move 5.
Anytime a board 4 could take down a board 1, that's a huge momentum swing, boost for morale as well.
That's right.
And yeah, maybe the draw offer, like, you know, Slew is up a point. Obviously, you want to get as many points as you can, but maybe he's just saying, like, we have the lead, let's just maintain it.
To be honest, I don't think he knew what the score
Yeah,
is.
probably
Yeah?
not.
Okay.
Well, it's a blitz game. It's hard to keep track of the other games.
Some teams have had communications with all their teammates, and so players can be very aware, especially when we're streaming the matches. But it is good to keep mental note of the score so far, because especially in round 4, when it gets down to the wire, it's crucial to know, especially with those draw offers. You never know if accepting could end up ruining your team's chances at winning. So.
Lubachik again thinking for a very long time in the opening. Is this a 4 move surprised him? It's not the most common move, but it's not unusual either.
Yeah, Priari over the 5-minute mark and Bubicic almost under 4 minutes.
Not a good thing. Not a good thing. A 1 minute thing in a 5-minute game. That's just not acceptable. You have to play something after A4. You just have to trust your instinct and trust your preparation. The games are generally not decided in the opening.
Yeah, this is surprising.
Generally you have quite a. I mean, in Blitz you want to play well and fast, but if it's in the opening, you really want to blitz those out and start putting the pressure on the time on your opponent.
That's over 1.5 minutes there.
And in Gordima's game against Last Samurai, we see already some very dynamic play from both sides.
Oh my.
White Castle long.
The blitz speed difference between this game of Kriari and the other one. Like this guy started later, and look how many moves and crazy moves they've played.
Two very different plays.
Chris Repka just took a 2-minute long thing. That's unacceptable at this point. That's what, 40% of your time, of your total time, something like that. My math is, I failed math a couple of times in college. So.
And JJ will be playing Bubicic in round 3, so we'll see.
That's gonna
be.
Time's
gonna be
that's gonna be a tough one. All right, A6. JJ playing so fast. I mean, I like the time management of him.
He's pre-moving.
He always does that.
He's pre-moving.
Although his position, I don't know. He played very quickly, so I trust his preparations. But I'm afraid of H4, H5.
This is what he did last time against Gordima. He played very fast. He got the worst position, but in the end, his time management saved him in the first match. So I don't think he minds getting a worse position as long as he has a sizable advantage on the clock.
And that he has. It's over 1 minute now. Hard to say if White wants to take on C5 first, go H4 directly. G5 is also possible, but very committal, because you're not going to be able to break black on the king side if the knight comes to H5. But on the other hand, the knight on H5 might just be out of place.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like we have an exchange Slav in the game between Daro and Crazy Girl, which I think it's also a crucial game. Because Crazy Girl has to do something. She's been having a very rough day.
Yeah.
And she's now playing the top board. Well, actually not the top board. Second board, but
she's
highest rated.
She's lost 4 games in a row now, right?
Oh wow.
Given UCLA, yes, I think she did.
Oh, that's
I think
tough.
she won. Yeah,
what is
she
this
won.
Move knight A5?
A very strange move. I don't understand. You play knight A5 when you have A6 and you want to follow it up with B5. Knight A5 is...
I mean, I think you can still play A6. I don't think there's anything actually wrong with that.
Knight A5 is a wow move.
Yeah, knight A5 is really curious. Because it doesn't really follow any opening principle, right? It's not attacking the queen on B3, and it's not going to C4 immediately. You definitely want to develop your pieces as quickly as possible, even on an exchange Slav. These things can be very tricky.
Unbelievable. No, knight A5 is a very bad move. Knight A5 is just a move that you play when you have no idea what you're doing in the opening, it seems like.
Yeah, I think like
what's going to be the punishment, coach?
Much more.
That will be discussed off stream.
That's like a coach secret. You can't give
Oh,
up.
man.
Oh,
Problem is that 95 is really strong, and bishop b5 check is a huge threat. I actually don't see another move that's not a6. She goes e6, but I mean, even queen a4 is.
Queen a4 is just losing.
You have to go knight c6, but I would be shocked if black actually holds that.
That is really interesting. Yeah, you would have liked to have seen e6 instead of knight to a5, because, like you said, even if these checks, the knight has to come right back to c6, and you've lost.
Yeah, it's a
the whole
huge
move.
waste of tempo. I mean, you're already down in tempo as black, and you're giving 2 free tempi. Your king hasn't castled. Takes on c6. It's, I think it's the lazy way to do this, but it's sufficient.
You think white will take on a7?
Yeah, I don't see why not. But actually, no. If you take with the b pawn, you have bishop a6. That traps the exchange. It's much better. I forgot about bishop a6.
These bishops are very strong.
Yeah, this is just an exchange and probably the game. I mean, you cannot go rook a8. Maybe you could bishop b7, but queen c6 just finishes.
not looking good.
No, the exchange is actually not the only problem she has. If she has some counterplay, that'll probably be useful, but she's still behind in development even after I take the rook.
Yeah, this one is going
Yeah, this one
definitely
looks-
Daro's way.
It's completely lost. Let's go somewhere else more interesting.
I guess we should go to Gordima's.
Gordima's game
position.
looks... It's one of those positions where that bishop on d2, it looks so awful because it's the only thing that is preventing good coordination of your pieces.
It is, but also the knight on h5 is completely off.
Oh, my knight on h5 is atrocious. I think, yeah, I need compensation for that knight. Which
You
might never
probably
get
will
back.
play e5. You probably will play e5 and try to sacrifice, try to destabilize the pawn structure, and try to somehow get the knight back.
All right, there are concrete problems right now. He plays queen c4,
c4.
and I could consider taking on e3.
So he's gunning that pawn on a6.
Right.
Probably has to follow up with queen a6. I like queen a6 actually at this point.
Yeah, queen a6 looks
He might have missed that.
problematic.
He might have missed that. He was like, okay, I'm defending the pawn, but queen a6 doesn't really.
I actually
But
thought
he
it was
needs to play
interesting to
fast.
play bishop e3 and sacrifice the 2 rooks for the queen.
Bishop
Ooh,
E1.
bishop e1.
Offering a rook trade.
Didn't see that coming. Now I really cannot take on e3 because you double at the end on d8.
On the 8th rank and
On the
it's a
8th rank, I
checkmate.
get mated.
So you take on d1, but
Hmm.
now wait. How are you getting away from this pin?
Probably rook
c7?
c7, but I think
But rook
d8 is
d8, I'm just gonna take. I'm gonna
and you
exchange
can
everything.
always-
Rook c1
Yeah, I
and-
cannot take.
with that knight on h5 like that. I think.
Ah, that's looking really bad because this knight on h5, it's just the bane of black's position. Now you don't have a threat right now, right? I mean, I could potentially play rook c7.
Yeah, rook c7. I feel like it's the right move.
Just to have bishop d6 always on tap if something happens to the bishop on c5.
He
Rook
plays-
d8, I think
wait,
that's
wait.
a big... Wait,
Just
bishop
one
h5,
second.
bishop e3.
Bishop
Does
h5.
that work?
Bishop e3.
Rook
It's the
d1 you
move.
have... No, rook
It's
d1 I
the
take
only
on
move.
h5. Interesting solution here by JJ. I don't know if it works. The point is to have that intermediate. If you take on my knight, I'll take the pawn on e3, I hit the rook on c1.
So he's saying that with 2 bishops, he's going to have enough compensation because of the activity of the major pieces. So for example, after bishop
especially-
h5, bishop takes e3, bishop e2, you just take on c1 and then queen g1 potentially and try to get.
Yeah, because the king's still a little
Counter
weak,
player.
right? He actually doesn't do that.
Okay,
But
but rook
trading everything
d3,
down.
I'm actually wondering the evaluation of the... I mean, white's obviously better here because that knight on h5 is still such a bad piece, but...
it is, but once again, you get this counter chances. Rook d3. So for example, if you go bishop f2, I have 2 options. I can go rook d2 or I can go e5.
I like e5 at some point just to pretend to liberate the knight a little bit.
I do like e5 as well. e5
You can also
followed
consider...
by...
Oh, but
But
rook
this is
d1
just
check.
equal, yeah?
Now we'll play rook d2, and this bishop is actually really bad as well.
Yeah.
Bishop
Yeah.
e1, I even can start considering even taking on h2 and then rook e2.
Do you think?
No,
Yeah,
at this
rook-
point, you have to take
no,
the...
you don't
the
stop
draw.
the
Okay.
rooks as black ever because the knight is just dead.
Yeah, you have
So-
to take the draw.
Well, that's a
even,
draw.
Even with JJ's over 3 minutes to Gordima's less than 30 seconds, you still take the draw there because the knight on h5 is so bad.
Yeah, the knight on h5 is just terrible. You can only lose. With increment, you can only lose that position.
Let's look at
So let's go to
Priari's-
one of the other
Priari
games.
has less than 30 seconds.
He does have an exchange, so probably on the board, this looks pretty good for white.
How did this happen? Repka spent 2 minutes in the opening, and then Kriari is now below 5 minutes, or Vacek still has a plenty.
Yeah, but just this exchange might.
It does
be
feel
a
like
bit
it's just an
much.
exchange, though. And E3 seems very solid to me. Yeah.
So he's gonna go G6, King G7, Rook H8. That's the plan. Okay, with 24 seconds, anything can happen.
Rook C7 I
And-
like,
Yeah.
but because I think the idea is on
King
King
G7.
G7 to offer some kind of queen trade, Queen G3, for example. There you
Queen
go.
E4.
Queen E4, I still can play Queen G2. I think he wants to be solid. Queen E5 doesn't work as a perpetual.
Queen F3. Yeah, I always
Yeah.
have Queen F3, and I do have the idea of Knight E4. Knights are tricky, and your king is still a bit weak on H1.
Yeah, this is still anybody's game, I feel. Knight D5 is now you have real counter chances because of E3 is hanging, I think.
It is, but at the end you exchange the queens with Queen E5. So, who
Mm,
got the
I'm not-
better out of this trade, black or
Yeah,
white?
but Knight
C4.
D5. I like Knight
Knight
D5.
D5.
Just hold the position with the knight on D5 and say
I like Knight
white
C4
can't break.
because I want to take a pawn. I
Knight
want to
C4
take-
F4. I don't see how you actually win a pawn.
Take on B2 and then what?
Rook D5. None of those options. Bit surprised about that one.
Rook D5 and then Knight C4. That doesn't make any sense to me, but okay.
Still, I think black's chances of drawing this are higher than losing. And not to mention that the knight is so tricky with no time at all. Not a big fan of G5 because
No,
of
G5
F4.
was a terrible move. You're not supposed to allow this. Okay,
Yeah,
King
but-
G6. You still have 2 pawns.
I mean, if you want to play for 3 results, G5 is a good move because your opponent has no time and you have 2 passed pawns and a knight.
Yeah.
Now
King
trickery
F6.
issues. Yeah,
Let's go King F6.
I like Rook E2. Very smart move. Pinning that knight
F4.
to E5.
He has to go F4. He has to get that pawn going. F4 is a good move. And now I'm
Suddenly, I
starting
don't
to
like-
have ideas with F3.
I don't like black-white's situation anymore.
Wait,
It feels-
Rook D1 F3? Rook D1 F3?
Ooh,
This is game
there's a
over.
big
four.
blunder.
This is game over.
No time
Oh,
left.
no, Nico. Oh, man. It's just a piece.
Yeah, Rook H1. Still some
Oh, that's a
mild
big-
technical
that's a big
difficulties.
piece.
But
That's a big piece.
Rook
Dara
takes
did
B2
win his
probably is
game.
also
You
a
could
move.
take
Yeah,
here
Rook
and
takes
four.
B2 is a
Oh,
good.
that's
Yeah.
just over. Yeah, 2 points.
Simplification. Yep. 2 pawns, and
Yeah,
the
that's
board
just
1
winning.
from Slew goes down. So
Yeah,
that's a good
so-
win for.
All right, so we're left with the
Zero.
Oparin game.
Oh, we had a result. Daro beating.
Yeah, Daro won his game. So 1.5
Okay.
to a half for the moment. It seems like Black is going to take this one, so equal, and then we're probably going to be left with that game between Oparin and the Rambaldi.
It's just a lot of suffering for Black. I don't know how serious the position is, but it is suffering.
It's suffering, but okay, it should be holdable.
Yeah, I think if you
There's
actually
no
go back
second
and forth,
weakness.
I actually don't
Yeah.
know what you do.
With the opposite color bishops.
Yeah. It's hard for the queen to actually penetrate too.
At some
Yeah,
point
I mean,
have
okay, you
go
get to
A5.
F8, but then what?
You can go A5 now.
I can go F5, F4. The nice thing about having the pawn on A4 is that it's always defended.
Yeah.
And it tethers your position a little bit.
Okay, draw.
You
offer.
offered a draw again.
It's a little. I don't know about the. I don't know about that one. I mean, Black is just suffering. I'm not so sure I condone that draw offer.
So Guguchi.
Did
got
you
them.
instruct Rambaldi to offer draws?
I only instruct him to win, Christian.
Nothing less.
Amazing. No, but okay, he should go for the draw.
Oh,
I think he should go for the draw.
A3
He
is
does.
playable, but I
I
don't know if
don't-
it just.
I don't
loses
want
the-
to allow those type of things. I
Where's he going with the
understand.
king? I mean, if he goes to B2, he's just asking to get mated. Queen B7? Oh, Queen E7 also. Start
Okay,
targeting
but
that
you
king.
still have to worry about your own king, so you don't have
like-
a way to get
Alright,
to one.
bishop c5.
So
Wow.
right now, what he's trying to do is exchange the queens and say that he has the king closer to the queen side where all the action is.
And that might actually be dangerous. Those
Queen
endgames, even though
D6
they're
and-
opposite color bishop, are not just drawn.
No, he has to go queen d6. Why didn't he go queen d6? Queen
Oh,
d6
why-
now. No, but queen d6 now, you just take and bring the king.
Yeah,
I
now
think
that
you're
should be-
close enough.
Is that a draw though?
Okay, you can also go queen b7. I don't know
I
why
think-
you didn't go queen b7.
I don't know if this is a draw though.
It was good for white.
G6, I probably have to take, but I'm not sure I'm in time.
It's a suffering for black for sure.
I think you have to play G6.
G6 I take and then go king a5.
I'd probably play E5.
Okay.
But I don't know if I have time to. F4. Look at that tricky
F4,
stuff.
wow. Wow.
Doesn't
But you
actually
put
do
another
anything.
pawn on the dark squares, so you're
Oh,
not
I'm
actually
so sure
achieving
that was a good
anything.
move.
I like this
Opposite
for
colored
white.
bishop endgames, you know, they're supposed to be a draw, but this one doesn't look great.
Yeah, Gregory declining the draw to get here, and also up on the clock could be important.
Okay, some
this
techniques
is a
still.
critical move. Critical move. This king b7 was critical. A very nice move. Now it's winning.
No, it's just winning, yeah. Because, okay, you have C7.
Wow.
You
Unless...
play bishop A6, but...
No, bishop d7, right? Bishop d7. King b8, bishop d7, and then just play this position and try to go king d5.
And E5? But what are you hoping to accomplish here?
Yeah, no. This... Oh,
E3
e3
maybe?
probably.
Oh,
No, but
okay.
e3 I go
So
king
slow.
f5.
So slow.
Yeah. No, this is over. You can take on e4
You
now.
can take an e4 and that pawn's
Yeah, you
running.
can do whatever you want. Okay,
Wow.
so that will tie the match.
Wow. It's tied at 4 here after 2.
Oof.
Tied at 4.
Yeah, it reminds me of the last time we played, huh? 2.5, 2.5, and then we were tied at 4.
Yeah. Tied at 4, but
exciting. Lots of games left.
okay.
man.
Oparin with a clutch victory.
Yeah, that was a
Very
important
well
victory.
done.
Look, one of the things about these team matches is that you need your leader to have a good day. And Oparin obviously is the Mizu chess team leader. He has to play well. He has to bring that confidence to the table for the whole team.
And no time to slow down here. Round 3 has started.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's last 7th Samurai against Bubachik, JJ against Chris Repka.
And I think this is a key match. Once again, these are the championship rounds, guys. This is Oparin versus Zvierch, the best chess players in the Collegiate Chess League, the highest rated chess players in the Collegiate Chess League, at least by over-the-board standards. Yeah, we have Last Samurai, Bubachik, and a few other games. I think Gordima is playing Kriari with the white pieces, and then Crazy Girl with board number 3, who is Rambaldi, right?
I think they haven't started the game yet, but like you were saying,
Rambaldi.
for a team to win, it's a team match. You need your leader to lead, but you also need, I think, all players really to contribute. And so far, Crazy Girl's still 0 for 2, and she hasn't won a game since.
Well, she is by far the lowest rated player in this match. So, as long as she maintains her composure and manages to put some points on the scoreboard, even a half a point, even 1 point, that's going to be huge. But she needs to do something. She needs to score at least half a point. She needs to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, this is very important. I think that's critical. Interesting games here. This Kriari Gordima game, I don't actually know this theory. Maybe E5, some kind of Mizu novelty.
No, that's your player.
Oh, my player. There you go. Very good. It's like a Slu novelty. What is E5?
Your players aren't telling you all their secrets.
Not all of them. I think
You were just about to insult the move E5.
No, E5 looks great. I just don't know why it's wrong. I know it's wrong. I just don't remember why. Because here I can take on D5, and I like Black's position, actually. It feels like solved everything pretty neatly. You can take on C6 even with the pawn.
By the way, I know these two players, Chemil Chan and Chris Repka, they have a lot of history in youth competitions. They've played, they're the same generation. They've played plenty of times in European championships, in world championships, world youth championships, that is. So they know each other quite well. I think this is going to be a very key matchup. If I'm not mistaken, the last match in the semifinals of the top tier bracket, which you guys won 9-7, this was a critical point because, okay, Bubachik was a bit worse at the end, but he just mouse slipped and he gave up the point. And it felt like, without any fight, it felt like that was a huge turn in that match. This is going to be critical. Round 3, critical round for.
And I
for
always
the
like the
match.
bishops in this position. Don't feel like I have enough compensation as white. I do have some light squares, for example, putting the bishop on d5 right now. But then I'll have to worry about knight d3. Still think bishop d5 is the move. Knight d3, rook e2. Take on b2, go queen b3, and say, okay, your knight's not doing so well on b2. You're going to have to go back, and e4 is always hanging. That's a big question of the position. Is e4 just hanging?
Two other players that have had some history, maybe not as much playing against each other, but I think as teammates, actually, Oparin and Daro. Weren't they both players for the California Unicorns?
They were, yeah.
Yeah, they
So
were.
do you think being teammates, maybe you could give them some insight into each other's games?
I don't know about that league because they don't play. I think they both got picked up pretty late in the season, right?
Yeah. They were both free agents, and I think the manager of the California Unicorns, they got picked up in week 3 or something like that. So
Was that a free
and I think
pawn?
they did have some training, and by training I mean they played a few games against each other in preparation for some of their matches, but that's the extent of their cooperation, I guess.
Yeah.
That is cool, though.
All right. So this is the game we're looking at, huh? Daro against Oparin.
Yeah, I think Oparin just grabbed a free pawn on A7.
Yeah, I don't
He
really
took it.
get. But you know, it's a King's Indian, so
It's the King's Indian. You
material
take the
doesn't
pawn
matter.
and then you hope you don't get checkmated
you
on the
hope for
king
the
side.
best.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll take that pawn on the queen side, but this looks really bad, actually. This d6 is very awkward to defend.
Right. And I was a bit worried about allowing f4, but you just simply don't have time to go f4.
Yeah, I don't have time, and this is also horrible, this knight b4 move. I can take on b4. You don't have to, but knight c2, knight d4 is coming, so you do want to pay attention to that.
Yeah, you don't want to allow the knight to go to d4.
Yeah, once you get the line to d4, game changes completely.
Do you want to take on f5 first and then think? I think you have to take on f5 at some point. Either way.
To? Why?
I just don't like allowing f4. But then again, I never liked these positions. I never understood them. So
it's a weird one, to be sure. I mean, it almost looks like black should just be toast. You're down a pawn, and
right.
Let's be honest, there's not really that much going on the king side yet.
Like, for example, if you go for the pawn, if you could take on b4 and go to a move such as queen d2, take the pawn on b4, I feel black gets enough compensation after like f4 followed by knight g5. That knight on h4 is a bit awkward. Still,
maybe. Oh, whoa! Look at that solution.
So knight c2.
Whoa, so knight c2 is tempting, but it is a free tempi.
What is this, Alejandro? What is this? What is this f4? How can you play chess like that?
Hey guys, by the way, Darius was supposed to play this with white.
Was he?
Yeah. What are we gonna do about that?
The players can restart their game if they want to. They probably should.
Let me check.
Because no matter what result happens, you could always contest it.
No, round 3 is Grigory versus Zierps. Zierps is board number 2.
So, let me see.
I'm pretty sure this is correct. Zierps is supposed to play Dimitri with white and Begim with white. You guys are the top seed.
Yeah. Daro is board 2. Right. He should have. Yeah, he's black. Yeah, so this is right.
This is still correct.
Yes.
But such a crazy position. So
yeah,
f4, he took on f4, he took on f5. Now the position gets completely crazy. After knight c2, are you going to just leave that rook on a1 and... Yeah, you're going to take on g6, of course. You have to defend against
that. No, you have to defend against that.
So are you going to... I like white.
No, position. White looks completely winning now. I don't know why he got rattled about this pairing. But yeah, I checked the pairing. We're the top seed, and yeah, this looks correct. This looks busted for us, to be honest.
Oh, was that Darius told you that he was supposed to play white? Okay.
Okay, the other games still look like a fight, even though I really like Francesco's position.
Oh,
so
everything else
is Friari's game, yeah.
No, Francesco is a pawn up. He has the active pieces. It just
Okay,
looks
Francesco's
like,
actually just winning.
yeah.
Criari,
Rook takes b6. The game is over.
yeah, Criari looks pretty equal. I mean, it's bad pawn structure for white, but he has a lot of activity, and it is an extra
he's a pawn
after
up.
all. Yeah, it's important. It's a bad pawn, but it's a
Ugly pawn, but it's a pawn up.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, the last samurai is doing really well.
You think so? At least time-wise, it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
strong, yeah.
Time-wise, I think position-wise as well.
Oh,
It's just an
he won an
exchange.
exchange. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, your guy blundered with. Yeah, he just allowed this knight c7 fork.
Mm-hmm.
That g3 pawn is annoying, but it's not that bad for white, so you can probably corral it at some point.
Hmm.
Yeah, he shouldn't take on. He shouldn't retreat the rook to e6.
I don't think JJ's been down on the clock in any of these games so far.
No, that's just critical. He's never down on the clock.
Yeah, no. Okay, the position is not over. That pawn on g3 is still a very annoying strength.
Yeah, it's an
For-
annoying
for-
guy. I really want to get rid of this stupid pawn.
So now you're
Like,
going
I'm
to
always
wait,
getting
wait.
hit.
a5, a5 followed by a4.
No,
He has to
A5
play
I'll go
faster.
C5. What is the point of g4 if I just take it?
I don't understand it.
Okay,
G4
well.
was the most strange. What? Why would you play? No,
Rook
G4 and
D5
Bishop
now.
F8 cannot be good. Cannot be good. Oh my goodness. No, he's
Hmm.
not playing this one right.
think
I think
Gordima
critical is
and-
going to be
Gordima and JJ just agreed to a draw.
what? No, Gordima
Wait,
is
no,
playing
that was the last
Nicolas.
round, my bad. I just
Gordima is
heard-
playing Nicolas Theodore.
Someone offered someone a draw. Criari offered a draw.
Gordima.
Gordima.
It does look equal, but
And Gordima down on the clock, but up that pawn. Playing on. So this is the second time Gordima's declined a draw. So we'll see if he can pull this one out too. Get back-to-back wins.
Yeah.
but down so much on the clock. Okay, Crazy Girl's not gonna survive. Neither
No,
is
definitely not.
Dariush. I mean, Dariush's position looks just like total trash.
8 seconds against 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah, and I'm also worried about. You know, that's funny. That knight on b4, we wanted to bring it to d4 at some point. I guess he never had a chance, and it's just not very good there. I mean, that king
Yeah.
is so exposed. There must be some kind of winning tactic at this point already.
Some rook f3 maybe. Also, no, 97 is not a move
97
yet.
doesn't work. Yeah, the rook on f8 is currently defended.
Maybe bishop e4 is what he's thinking about. That could be an
E4.
idea.
Yeah,
that
bishop
could be an
E4.
idea.
Take
You're
on
going to take on
though.
f4, and that's the question. Like,
Yeah,
is
but
that
I
enough?
can take on f4. Bishop e4, bishop takes f4, and any discovery with the knight, I'll take it. Bishop takes g6, I'll have bishop e3 at the end.
You have your own discovery.
I have
Yeah,
my own
yeah,
discovery at the
yeah.
end. It's very,
Yeah.
very tricky, but very nice.
Rook
Yeah.
f3. Okay, that makes sense. Rook c2.
All right,
Finally, the
really
knight is
nice.
going to
Knight,
d4.
yeah. And Crazy Girl lost her game.
Yeah, that was kind of expected. Gordima also down on time. He needs to hurry up. Bubachik against Last Samurai just looks.
Yeah, that c
really-
pawn is just going. That c
Is
pawn
it?
is just going.
Yeah, I could just take on a3. That's the end of the game.
Yeah.
All right, very nice win there. Important by JJ.
So you guys are up 2 points right now. Slu is up 2 points.
Yes, but still not liking Darish's position. Still trying
Wait,
to
wait.
go
So
on.
rook b7 was played by white. Okay, g5. He's trying to go g4, potentially exchange the bishops and take on e2.
Mhm.
But g4, bishop d5. This is what I don't like right now. Bishop d5, rook d4. Okay. Wait, no. Bishop d5. What do you do against bishop d5? Rook b6 and then rook d4. Okay. Ah, we're watching Farin's
Sorry.
game. Sorry,
I-
sorry.
I-
No. That's the one to
Yeah,
stay
this one
with.
is the one to watch
Awesome.
because I somehow Aparin got himself so low on time.
Oh yeah, they're both really low.
You guys have to tell me because I was getting some ads at some point and then I
Now we're
didn't
looking at Aparin versus Dariush.
I got the ads.
Oh man, you got attacked by the ads. But the game it's not that much of a mess. It does look winning for white, but
Hmm.
some technique needed. I really didn't like 94.
Yeah, bishop f3 is coming. You're going to
Okay,
exchange
okay.
bishop d3.
What is this endgame? Don't go king g5. That's a funny mate.
Well, 2 bishops should be enough.
Should be, but this bishop.
It's
on-
not easy. It's not
Not
easy.
easy. If you actually trade the dark squared bishop.
There's
Whoa,
bishop
Bishop
a5.
a5.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Whoa!
Whoa.
That's a classic
Bishop
piece
a5.
sacrifice. There goes the
Oh,
pawn.
man, maestro.
And the
Oh my
knight.
goodness.
Hats off to that one. You just moved the bishop.
There it is.
Oh, knight c6.
Oh.
What will you take?
Oh my goodness! Play
What is
bishop
this?
d7, not bishop
Oh,
e6.
why was
Oh.
why was bishop e6 played?
Oh.
3 pawns, but those are not good pawns. Those are not good pawns. Okay, you're going to
Should be
push pawn
winning, though,
c4
right?
Three
and then
pass
g4.
pawns, two
There's
pass.
so many pawns.
Yeah, that's a lot of pawns. Wait, but king
But
comes to
I
the
have my
front.
own pawn
White's,
too.
White's got this h pawn.
Man, I don't like this.
Oh
I
my
don't
god.
like this.
Oh my
What
god.
is
This
happening?
is the craziest thing ever.
Now d6 is going to
What
be played.
is happening?
No, you can't
Oh,
stop.
no.
There's going to be a queen on the board.
You
Yeah,
don't-
but it's
No.
not enough.
You
It's
cannot
not-
go
Oh, queen
But
f8.
you can't go
cannot
b8
go-
because of
you
queen
can't-
check.
You cannot go b8. Oh my goodness.
Now
what is
going
this?
on? What a
c7,
crazy
queen
game.
to
Queen
c5.
c5, queen b7.
No, there's a
I
check.
think you just take the draw here. I cannot imagine black can win this.
What's happening here, guys?
Oh boy,
Oh my god.
push.
d6.
What is going on?
Check, check here.
He's gonna get outplayed. He's gonna get outplayed.
What is this?
There's no time.
What is this, guys?
There's no
Oh,
checks.
there's
No
no
checks.
checks.
There's no
The game is
checks.
over. The
Oh
game
my
is
God.
over, guys. The game is over. Wow.
Oh,
Oh
this
my
is
God.
terrible.
Wow.
Wow.
3 pawns against the queen. Just too strong.
Wow.
I'm going to take. I'm going to get the second queen.
Yeah, he's gonna get
Two
a second
queens,
queen.
3 queens on the board.
Oh my god. What a
Oh,
what a game.
That's a lot of queens.
That was a
That's a
heartbreaker.
lot of queens.
oh man.
All right, and let's go to the last one, Gordima.
Oh, man, this is
okay, this
key.
is just a draw. Okay,
Yeah,
so-
this is just a draw.
So
Oof.
2.5 to 1.5 for you guys in this one.
I mean, anything could still happen.
You're going into the last game, half a point ahead. Okay,
Full point.
Criari offered a draw. Yeah. Man, what?
That's
what a
that's
round,
1
huh?
point lead, but anything could happen.
What a round. That bishop e6, knight c6 resource by Darius was.
It's
just
incredible how
crazy.
resourceful these guys are.
Yeah, after
Seriously.
after bishop a5, you thought that pawn was unstoppable. And
Yeah.
what a defense by Daro, hanging on as long as he could.
Man, that's amazing. He was actually probably winning at some point, but he definitely should have taken that draw. I think he tried too hard to win. And it's currently 1 point ahead for us. Going
One
into
point
the last
ahead
round.
for
Oh,
Sue,
yeah,
going into
yeah.
round 4.
6.5, 5.5.
Yep.
Oh man, that's crazy. And everything to be played for in the last round. It's not a big edge at all.
No.
No, anything could happen. Down to the
Anything
last
can
round.
happen. Oh man, key games. What a crazy game this one was. It's funny because he wanted to be fancy, right? With bishop e6, you could just play a queen.
And Oparin goes for the Dutch again.
Wow. Wow.
He needs. So
He
this is the
did not get
championship
pushed.
round.
H3.
Check this out.
Yes.
D4, F5, H3.
Championship round, college chess. I actually like H3.
You wanted
It's-
show. You paid for the show. This is.
This is
this
the
is
show,
the show.
right?
This
H3,
is the
G4
best show in
coming.
town.
I mean, this is real chess, guys. Do you think he's pre-moved G4?
Probably not.
I'm just not noticing Criari's got the little Santa Claus flare. Was that always there, or was this added just before the match?
Who's the Santa Claus? Is that
the
the
Criari.
gnomes? Are those
The
the gnomes?
No,
I have
I
no
think-
idea.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Oh man. All right, where do we even go? Where do we even go, guys?
I have no idea. This
These are
this
the
I
game
mean,
is
ones.
completely
Crazy
crazy
Girls is
already.
trying to checkmate JJ with like five moves. Oparin and Criari is crazy
Wait,
after
wait,
3
wait.
moves.
Why,
of chess.
why is she trying to? Oh, we have two Dutch
Yeah, two Dutch.
games. Okay, okay.
Oh man, I hate the move D5. I know like the point of D5, but
All
I
right.
hate that move so much.
For
It's just such a
Wow.
it's such a copy house move. That move is so bad.
Crazy Girl's got 1 point so far today out of 7. If she can get a point here against JJ, that's going to be huge.
She's got a good position though. I mean, this E4 business at some point will rip apart the position, and Black's
And I just want to let you guys know that White in Oparin's game versus Criari has made 4 moves with pawns to start the game.
Oh man, it reminds me of like a really old game where White played 13 moves with the pawns and Black resigned.
What is that? Oh my goodness, this is collegiate chess. That's why nobody takes collegiate chess seriously.
Man, I see I have a trader on the team. I see somebody like cheering for Begim even though they're a student of mine. This is very
Oh
bad.
wow.
Very good, very good.
Niger.
We're infiltrating. We're infiltrating our
Oh man,
people.
this is such a
And
crazy game
isn't
already. 'Cause
Niger friends with JJ? I thought
you would think so,
she's
right?
rooting for
Same
Begim
country.
against JJ, but wow.
How do you call it? When there's an infiltrated enemy.
A spy?
Yeah, but there's
Amnesia.
a word for that. Huh? I don't know the word.
A double agent?
Double agent, but maybe a mole. But
A
Does that really
rat.
have a mole?
An
Terrible, I
insider.
tell you. All right, this game is just crazy. I mean, what is going on?
Oh man.
Is White getting mated after knight a4, knight c3? It feels like it's actually checkmate, right?
Knight c3
Yeah, it's
looks
not looking
really
good.
good.
Like, you
knight
have to stop
c3
this
is a
somehow.
big threat. Also, I'm not 100% sure why she's playing so fast.
I'm also not sure what the knight's doing on g3 because she managed to lock up the position, but that just gives Black actually a free hand. It's so much faster the attack on the queen side. Maybe she has to play. Ah man, it looks suicidal, but maybe a3.
Yeah, that one is not looking good.
Yeah,
That
probably
one
knight
is not
e2,
looking good.
knight rook b8. Also, I thought bishop a6 might be the point. So knight c3. I'm kind of wondering. Ooh.
What? What about knight c3?
No, but knight c3 she'll take with the knight and she'll go b3.
And then go b3, yeah?
Yeah, and
But then
that's
I go
barely
c4.
holding.
Then I go c4. I'm not 100% sure it's holding.
I mean, it's not great, but it's giving herself a chance. I think bishop a6 might finish the game more cleanly.
Bishop a6, I'm going to go knight to c1.
Knight c1, and then I can play knight c3 for sure.
Can you?
Yes. Can I?
Yeah, so I
Well, you at
so
least
I
win the
take,
rook.
you take, then I go. No, I will take on c3 and then go knight b3, but you
B3,
have
yeah.
c4 at the end. And that just seems overwhelming.
Yeah, it does seem pretty bad.
I mean, she has to go knight c1. It's the only move. But yeah, knight c3,
Knight
take on
C3.
c3, knight b3, c4. White is going to go rook to d4 to try to go queen to c1 and defend the pawn. The square b2, defend the checkmate on b2. But
Oh, so he goes for it directly. Knight c3. You have to
Yeah.
take. I don't
I
believe
think
in
it's
White's
better
position.
this way. I think it's better this way.
Maybe.
Just take on c3 and then keep that bishop on a6, and the bishop on f1 is actually a liability for white, I think.
To just go c4 immediately, right?
Yeah, I'm not take on f1, just go c4.
I'm also wondering if you can go king a1. That's what she's thinking about.
Yeah, what happens if king a1?
I mean, you can take the exchange, but it's not the end of the world.
The game goes on.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about this one. Because if you only win an exchange, then suddenly, okay, you have a lot of weak dark squares, and you should win eventually, but it becomes a technical task.
Yeah, this one is not looking good for Crazy Girl. I think we should definitely go to Oparin's game against Nicolas Theodorou, board number 1 against board number
Bayern
1.
has a huge time advantage.
Big time advantage, yes.
But I don't really like his position.
Why not?
I feel
Isn't
I'll
that the
take on
pawn up?
Well, I'll take on c4, right?
Right, so you're going to take on c4, but I do have the 2 bishops. And I
That's
think
true.
I'm going to go long castle.
That is true. Once you long castle, it does feel a lot safer.
Actually,
Yeah,
do
maybe I
want
was
to go
too-
long castle?
Long castle as well.
Hmm.
Because if I short castle, g5, g4 might
Yeah.
open.
It's funny, but this position is actually a very strategical position. Like, given how the game started,
Yeah.
you would have expected
H3,
it to go
G4.
into like some sort of a tactical mess. This is actually a very strategical position right now. It's all about the pawn structure and the fact that, okay, white has this stable pawn structure. He's going to go e3. He's going to have the light squares controlled on the long diagonal by the bishop on g2. Black has the 2 bishops. So I want to say that white has the better structure a little bit,
Trying to get
just
the
because
queen
it controls the center. That's exactly what he's trying to do. I think that would favor black.
Yeah, I think queen f7 is a good move, but I also don't like moving the queen back. I don't have a good square for it. And I think this version of the endgame, it should be fine for black, but I don't know if it's more than that. Long castle I like. That king is actually much safer on c1. And now I think knight b5 is an actual threat.
That's the thing. You have knight b5 coming, so I have to defend against that.
An
A6,
a6.
yeah. Yeah.
I could even consider going knight e5, although that opens up the position. Yeah,
There
there
it
you go,
is.
knight e5 played.
Yeah.
The point is that the b7 pawn is hanging at the end, so if you take on e5, you do want to take twice. You don't want to allow me to play f4 and then just have a monster pawn or knight on e5.
This was a tactical miss by black. He has
Maybe
to take with the
G5 was a
bishop.
little
Yeah,
bit
take with the
too
bishop
much.
because you need the knight to guard on d7.
Wait, so you take with the bishop on e5, then what do? You
But
take
the
on
nice
e5,
thing
I would
about
assume.
white, if you take with the bishop, is that you no longer have the pair of bishops, right?
Yes. And then you take on b7 at the end.
No, I'll go f4. You cannot take on e5 twice because
But I have
bishop takes,
bishop
pawn takes, knight
c6.
takes f4.
I have bishop c6.
Bishop c6, that's very nice.
So bishop takes e5, you take
And I think
knight
that's what
takes
he's
e5.
calculated, yes.
But you can just simply take on b7, and that's
I
a very
could
important
also
pawn.
go for the variation anyway and play bishop c6, rook d7 check, but we're not going to see that rook d8 played. But after f4, I'll take white any day.
Yeah. No, that pawn on e5 is a monster. And the knight potentially coming to d4. Now you have to start thinking about bishop takes c6. Also,
I was going to start thinking about it. I don't like bishop c6 immediately, but it's definitely something to consider. Bishop.
And by the way, we have a
maybe.
result. Last
Yeah.
Samurai Chemil-chan won his game against Crazy
Yeah.
Girl.
So she
Yeah, we saw that one
ended up
coming,
taking
that
on
attack.
c3. Oh,
So you guys are
rook
currently
sack on
down 2
d3.
points, right?
Yeah, it's 7.5,
Oh.
5.5 for Slu right now. So you guys only need one more point out of this next 4 games. And you guys should tell me which games you're on, because
Hey, let's look at
I
Dara.
have the ads once again in my face, so I don't really see what you.
Oh, I'm still on Grigory's game. He's
Okay,
both
great.
sides are
I mean,
at
I think
a minute.
the match strategy move here is to take on c6.
Okay. Yeah, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know that.
That's true.
Maybe he knows. I don't know. Maybe he knows.
The more I look at it, maybe not so easy, because you will actually not trade the rooks. Like if I take on c6, take on c6, rook takes d8, rook takes d8, rook d1, you might play rook g8 and start pushing.
It feels like Bubachik is winning his game.
Ooh, that's a big one. Ah, he's up, just up the exchange.
Yeah,
No,
but it's not clear. No,
actually,
this is not
a6 is
clear.
hanging.
Maybe not winning his game. Maybe I spoke a bit too soon. But he has to go rook to g8 now. He has to focus on that f pawn to create b5.
Well, b5, he can play rook g8 first. It's kind of distracting the knight.
Yeah, that's
should be winning.
also a
I
move.
feel.
So b5, you take on d5 and then rook g8. The question was which one to do first. He chose it like this. Now, if you go knight to c7, I would assume rook takes. Okay, so he defends the pawn on.
Maybe he'll play h3, but it might not be.
But now
enough.
the knight is stuck. This is big. The knight is stuck to the defense of that a7
Yeah, but
pawn.
I'm not really sure what white's going to do. I'm going to play king f5, h3, h4.
King
Sorry,
f3.
h3, h2.
King f3,
Yeah, h3,
king g3.
h2.
That's what you want to do.
I just want to distract this rook or the king and take f4. Feels
Makes
actually
sense.
surprisingly difficult.
Makes a lot of sense. And Theodorou is also looking pretty good against Grigory. Well, maybe equal, but
Yeah, but
definitely
you'll
white
take
has
Darius' position any day, right?
also Darius is looking good.
No, Brian.
So this Ubacha game is very important, but they have so much time. We should probably focus on the Paring game.
I'm looking
Simply
at that
because
now.
they're both so low on time.
Yeah, both at 15
Right.
seconds.
It's just
So rook
down a
f3.
pawn. I like bishop
Bishop
e6.
e6, yeah,
You cannot
that's a
take
good
on
move.
h3 because rook f7.
That's a good move. And given the match situation, bishop e6
time.
is a very
5
practical
seconds.
move.
I like check on f7 and then just move the bishop back, either f5 or g4. Maybe g4. Just move it all the way back. Oh, you
taking
can
the
take on
pawn first
b7.
is the
Haha,
knight
very
hanging.
blind.
Even better. Yeah.
Even better, yeah. Now the knight is pretty much stuck there. You can play bishop anywhere. G4. Knight C5, rook. Yeah, B4. That seems like 2 extra pawns. That's a big win for us. Oh, here a draw off.
Oh, that was
Aro
Charo
offered a
and
draw
Gordima.
Dara
for...
offered a draw to Gordima, so that's a draw. You guys have to win the last 2 games, right?
Yeah, that's doesn't look good right now.
No, I think Kriari has.
I mean, maybe
not gonna lose
Bubachik
this
will manage to get this one, even though it's not clear at all. But
Oof, 0.1 second made a
Kriari-
move.
Oh,
Kriari is never
Oh man,
going
but
to.
it's just so many pawns.
It doesn't matter. Kriari is not going to lose this one. He has to lose in order for Mizu to
Yeah.
tie. But it's impossible to lose this position as white.
I also don't think that Francesco's necessarily losing that. I think that's a drawn endgame actually.
Yeah, so Slew only needs a draw at this point to win the match.
Yep. I don't think they know that, but he'll keep trying to push for the win. Why not? You have 2 pawns against 0. Might as well keep trying. Surprisingly not trivial to win this, huh? Just don't scare me. Don't put the king on a5. You just scare me when the king's on a5.
Oh man.
0.9
be-
seconds.
Oh,
Goes
he's
to
Oh, man.
2.8.
Oh, b6, so king b5, and I think
Um,
that's the match. Yeah, you can just take on b7 next move. Rook
Rook
d5.
d8.
Oh, the
Oh.
bishop rook's hanging.
But that's the second rook
There
it is.
Oparin gives in these matches.
Oh, that's a tough one.
In the first match, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Oh, Francesco with the
We got a draw offer.
the
from
draw
Slew.
offer.
Maybe
It's actually-
This is the last game.
Yeah, it's actually a draw without the b pawn. It's a very strange draw.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, but you're going to suffer for a very long time.
Yeah, you suffer
and
forever.
most
but-
likely, from a practical perspective, it's very, very difficult to actually make the draw.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first, but that actually wasn't so hard.
Really, huh?
Yeah, but I have to refresh on that. This one, though, feels like should have something to at least try, right? King d3. King e6. This is kind of annoying for white. You don't want to go with the king to c4 because then the pawns on the king side will somehow be traded. 97. But this one actually looks like you
Well,
have
I'm
to
going
go
to
into
take
the endgame.
the pawn on b4. So.
I think king e6 and then just b3, b2.
Knight to f5 check. King to
I'm
c4.
surprised
From
about that.
C4, yeah.
Now you're
both
probably
pawns.
going to have to go back.
I
No,
didn't
okay,
like
I'll
that
take
move.
Take on
Ah,
No,
whenever
you cannot take
take
us 95 check and you take on
95.
f4.
Got it. So
King
he's
e6 here.
using
King-
that pawn as bait.
Yeah, king e6 I think he'll play. That's right. He just wants to trade off on the f4 pawn, which is not as easy as it sounds.
Just don't go king e4.
Yeah,
because-
King E4 you get 4.
Oh, that's a pawn. Okay, I'll take that pawn.
They didn't want it. I don't know why.
I guess king f5. King f5 was a problem. And you
Yeah.
exchanged the last pawn.
Yeah.
Hmm.
King c6. Problem is this king can't actually go that far either because this rook is not very good at catching the pawn. But
I
okay,
think-
now we have the question, right? Can the pawn actually push in time? It's going to be a pawn raise, knight d5, king d4, those kind of things. King c4 played. He needs to push the pawn while holding on to the f pawn. That's why the knight has to go to d5. Doesn't feel like it's enough for black. It should be winning.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to oust that knight before you start pushing your pawn. Like,
Yeah,
for
that should be
example, king
possible.
c3, king e7.
But knight c7, then that's still not over.
Right, knight c7 is the only move, and then I cannot go f6 because you have knight d5 and give
Yeah,
up that
And I'm
knight.
somehow holding. I mean, there should be a win somewhere.
I don't know. That's a good defense. That is a good defense, and it feels like that knight is just basically fighting against the pawn, and that might just be enough. Yeah, knight f6, king e4 potentially,
No, but now I just put the knight on h5 and the pawn
or
on b2.
h5. Yeah, put it far away.
Put it far away from the king so that... And you
Yeah.
cannot threaten the knight with the rook because you always have b2.
Yeah,
and I
knight
can
takes
just take on
f6.
f6 and b2. And that's just a draw.
That's a draw.
Wow,
Yeah.
a big save there from Francesco. Wow.
Wow. All
Big
right.
save. In the end, I don't think it was necessary, but still, I think the final result was what, 9-7?
6.5
9 to
to
7 again, I
9.5.
think.
I think it's 9.5 to 6.5.
Oh,
9.5 to 6.5. Yeah, that's this was a 3-1 round. That is true. So yeah, good games all around, guys.
Yeah, good games. That was a lot of fun. Man, that was a tough matchup.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, hopefully, I just want to mention briefly, we do have one more tournament coming up as an end-of-season invitational, April 19th, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit later when we close. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining, and we're gonna do a break. I think.
Thank you, Joe. I
Yeah.
think you did an amazing job with the organization of this league. Basically, it was done from scratch, and I think we had 58 teams, 58 schools, probably more teams, but that is almost as many teams as the Pan Americans, which is the biggest and pretty much the only intercollegiate event of the year. And that's the problem in collegiate chess. We don't have that many tournaments, and I think we need to add that competitive side, that constant competitive side that a league such as this one possesses. Compete every single week, and that's key. We need to put these players forward for the fans to see, for the fans of the universities to see and connect with. And I think you have been doing an amazing job. So thank you for the invitation of playing in the league, and I think it's only onwards and upwards from here.
Yeah, definitely. That was a lot of fun. I know the players were certainly motivated, and they really brought it today. They had some amazing games, and just that JJ Oparin game still has me like amazing.
Yeah, this was definitely a lot of fun. I think did we still want to do some interviews for the players or not really?
Oh, for sure, because I think you guys are going to take a break, and I'm going to go.
Okay.
Maybe start another.
So
another show.
We're gonna say goodbye to Cristian. He's gonna go start his own stream. I think we're gonna rate him afterwards. But
we'll
yeah,
definitely rate him.
we're gonna do a short, quick break, maybe like five or so minutes. We're gonna invite. I think I want to get at least one player from each team. Maybe whoever from Mizzou, and maybe I don't know, JJ or maybe JJ.
Yeah, I'll see.
So yeah. And yeah, we'll definitely talk a little bit more after the interviews and wrap things up here. And I'll let you guys know about our future events and all that. So yeah,
Sounds good.
Good match.
All right.
All right. Thank you,
See you
Cristian.
guys.
It was a fun
Thank
match.
you. See you guys.
And we'll be right back, I guess.
And we're back. Hello, guys. First off, good games. You guys did really well. We could start with Grigory. You guys beat UCLA twice to get to the finals. How much preparation did you put in? Did you look over the match at all, or were you pretty confident considering you beat them the first time 14-2?
I no, I personally didn't really prepare that much, even for a match against Seoul. So
Oh, so either
I just chose the openings that I would like to play against them. And that's it.
was one of those openings the Dutch.
Yeah,
Your coach didn't
I
seem
mean the Dutch worked out pretty well. I think
okay.
I got two winning positions. I lost them in the end, but okay.
Now you're the board.
I think that was an amazing opening choice, actually. So.
As board one, do you feel like you have extra pressure on your shoulders to perform better?
Well, I tried my best. Of course, it's quite hard, but I played in the Pro Chess League, so I kind of experienced with this pressure. So.
Yeah, and the Pro Chess League, how much similarity do you feel as a player in both leagues? And do you think there are areas in either or where one league could look at the other and try to improve on?
Well, I don't know. I think we should play a kind of a longer time control in the Collegiate Chess League because 5+2 is quite fast. So
Okay.
I think the time control that is currently used in the Pro Chess League is more suitable for this event. Maybe
Okay.
10+2 or something like that.
Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, Alejandro, do you have any questions for him?
No, I thought the games were very exciting. I think you showed through many weeks how you played really, really well. But today, you had some crazy games, but they didn't really go your way.
Yeah, I had some crazy games. I had a crazy game against Darius.
Oh man,
The ending, yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the craziest. I mean, this knight c6 must have just shocked you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I almost lost it.
Yeah,
At some point.
yeah, but somehow you came back, and those pawns
Yeah.
were just going forward. At some point, I was yelling for Darius to make a draw, but I guess he couldn't hear me.
I think I was never worse. I checked it with the engine, but okay.
Oh, you weren't worse? I mean, we don't have an engine, so we're just kind of guessing.
Yeah.
We figured
Yeah.
a queen.
Yeah,
and
I
a check.
checked it. I checked it after the game. Darius just had the perpetuals. That was.
Wow, that's just crazy.
Wow. And
I mean,
Darius
yeah,
is one of your teammates actually from the California Unicorns. I touched on that a little bit in the commentary. Do you think that helped you at all in preparing against him? You kind of know what openings he likes to play.
Yeah, a little bit. I actually also played a few training games when we prepared for the Pro Chess League playoffs. So yeah, I knew what Darius was playing with both colors. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, and yeah, hopefully you're going to be a large part of the Collegiate Chess League moving forward and all the future matches. So yeah, thank you again, and great job, good games. And we're
Thank
gonna
you.
start asking JJ some questions. JJ, do you remember me talking to you about the Collegiate Chess League as an idea maybe during the Pro Chess League finals when we met up at San Francisco?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it looked like a good idea, and I'm glad that you actually started it. And it was a fun event. It was a tough event, but I think it's a lot of fun to get involved college students and blitz and all that. So
Yeah.
it was fun, and I'm happy that we won.
I guess this kind of maybe a question for both Alejandro and JJ, but that was literally less than a year ago. Do you guys think that, from that point, just me kind of proposing this idea, kind of pitching it to chess.com, so to speak, did you think in less than a year all three of us or all four of us would be here, like on, Chess's Twitch account streaming this, Collegiate Chess League finals match?
Well, I think that there's kind of a void at the moment in collegiate chess that really needs to be filled. There's not enough events, and these kind of things just are so suited to collegiate chess. This kind of faster time controls, perhaps a little bit slower, as Gregory was saying, but relatively fast time controls. matches between universities that they can schedule themselves. It allows them to play every week. The players have something to look forward to, especially right now where there are no tournaments offline. It's nice for them to have other things to play, and kind of transitions into the event that we're going to have next weekend. But obviously, this is something that they look forward to, and I think it's a great initiative.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, JJ, one last question from me, and I'll let your coach maybe ask you a question or two. I don't know if you're paying attention at all to the stream, but one of your friends, Niger, was actually rooting against you in that round 4 match. Do you have any words about that?
Well, it was a critical round. I think the match was very close, but I think she was still supporting Slu in some way. But I did my best at least. Had to gamble a little bit in the last round because I thought my victory can be crucial at that stage. But so I took some risks, and it paid off. So I was just playing my game. I didn't really pay attention to what's going on in the chat at that time. But yeah, once my game ended, I always listened to the commentary. So
Yeah,
I was playing at that point.
Oh,
only have to have a talk with her.
I
JJ, you had some crazy games, but tell us what is your secret? It seems like you're always up on time against your opponents.
Actually, like I generally play like Buckhouse all the time online, and you know, like you have to play so fast that I just can't stop playing moves, and I think that's one of the key things I was playing earlier today. And another thing is, I don't know, I just like to play fast. Like when I'm streaming, I cannot play as fast because I'm speaking. But besides that, whenever I play Blitz, I try to play as fast as possible, especially in 3 minutes. It doesn't go that way in Bullet because I often get flagged. But I mean, I like to play fast in general and even in classical games, but like to be able to control the position. So if it was something I couldn't control, I would just sit down and calculate. But I thought I was always doing okay. I mean, I had games where I was like lost, especially against Grigori in the first game. I think this piece sacrifice I had looked into, but I think after like 5, 6 moves of my sacrifice, I was almost lost. Maybe I was totally lost. Also against Dimitri, I was worse. I wasn't yet lost, but I think playing fast allowed me to slip, just like it happened in the previous matchup against him. He was always clearly better, but somehow he just let me slip. And the rest of the 2 games, I just kind of bluffed a bit, and I was lucky to win round 3 with the
Well, luck played a large part of it. 3.5 out of 4. That's an excellent score for the day. The highest score of anybody in today's match. So well done, JJ. I mean, definitely a team effort, but that 3.5 was crucial.
yeah. One last note on that. Interestingly, when Alejandro sent me the matchup or the roster, their lineup, he told me all 4 players are about the same strength. Doesn't matter who's board 1, who's board 4. So being good friends with JJ, I asked him. I said, "Hey man, your coach doesn't seem to be too sure who's gonna be where." So I asked JJ, and he put himself on board 4. He ended up being the strongest player, going 3.5 out of 4.
Yeah, it's
So
not so surprising. I mean, the difference in rating between them, especially on Chess.com, can be anything plus 100, minus 100 between them, because they actually switch uh, around. Sometimes JJ will be high 2800s and Darish will go down to low 2800s. Or I know Nico actually broke 3000 before the stream started, but he was 2900. When I was sending the pairings, so they're definitely very strong, but they're also very similar levels. JJ being on fourth board, I mean, it's not a big surprise, but it doesn't mean that he's necessarily worse than our board 1.
mhm.
No, I also like being on board 4 because I play their board 1 first, and then 2, 3, and then 4. So it's a better order for me. And
That
my
makes sense.
colors are white, black, so I don't have to think a lot. I know my opponents exactly in order. And
Nice.
I even knew the openings I wanted to play. With white, I was going to go d4 and bishop g5 pretty much against anything. So that was my idea overall.
It definitely makes things easier, and yeah, a little bit of prep always goes a long way, especially in Blitz when you know what your first moves are going to be. Sometimes you get stuck in the opening, and it's not a pleasant feeling.
JJ, I saw you streaming Bughouse. Do you think the Collegiate Chess League should do a Bughouse tournament?
I mean, Buckhouse is a lot of fun. If I have nothing to do, that's like the first game I consider playing. And we had a match against Andrew Teng and his teammate, actually. So it was technically a collegiate match. My partner was Turkish, but I could have easily partnered someone else.
Oh,
But I think Princeton would have the huge edge with Andrew in the lineup.
that's
But
awesome.
still, it's worth playing and it should be fun. I think we should put on our like schedule of training sessions, which we do, but
Not during the session, but afterwards.
Gregory, do you have a Twitch account? Have you started streaming yet?
No, I haven't started yet. I mean, I have a Twitch account, but yeah. I'm actually too lazy to set up my streams. That's actually the
Okay.
main problem.
So I think your teammate Gordima has started streaming, right?
Yeah, he has started streaming last semester.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be cool to see you guys streaming together. Maybe you guys could be a really strong Bughouse team as well.
It's pretty scary. Although I found out that not because you're stronger at chess doesn't mean that you have any talent at Black House.
not necessarily. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of chess variants, so yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely not very strong at Bauhaus.
Well, anyways, that's all the questions that I have. I wanted to thank you guys again for being here because without you guys, without the players, without the coaches, this league wouldn't exist. So yeah, definitely for you guys.
Thank you, Joe, for setting this all up. It was definitely a lot of fun. It was very exciting and nerve-wracking at points, especially those matches against Mizzou.
All right. And yeah, I guess my last note, again, there's a tournament on April 19th coming up pretty soon. It's a Swiss 9-round tournament, same time control, 5-2. All the schools in Collegiate Chess League and a bunch of other schools are invited. I know a lot of the stronger Texas teams that weren't part of the Collegiate Chess League are joining. University of Toronto has committed. There's going to be a lot of interesting matchups, more players, and I hope to see you guys there. So looking forward to that.
Thank you, Joe. See you guys next weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you.